Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night League. Tonight, we're debating some fish, looking at the frauds going into the playoff race until the top of the hour when we hop into game number 1. As always, I'm joined by Prolly, I'm joined by Mark Z, and a special guest for the evening, Lorelo. You're coming to us hot after a 2-0 week in Academy. I believe it's at least a 5-0 run for you in competitive. How are you feeling after this past week?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited for this, and yeah, I'm feeling really good.
Yeah, it's week 7 that we're heading into. So many important things for us to track, including the standings and where all the LCS teams currently stack up. In that number 1 spot, Cloud9 and Team Liquid are still sharing that space, but hey, that's not going to last long considering the two teams face off on Sunday. Then TSM holds on to 3rd place at 7-5 with a 3-way tie for 4th between Evil Geniuses, FlyQuest, and Golden Guardians at 6-6.
Yeah, and I think it's a little tough coming up for Golden Guardians in terms of EG and FlyQuest, who they are tied with. They have the hardest strength of schedule remaining. It's not impossible. It's still middle of the pack, but I think they've been more up and down for me than some of the other people that they're currently tied with. And they did just come off a 2-0 weekend, but it was against Immortals and Dignitas. So I'm curious to see if they're going to keep improving. It does feel like they have been getting better, but if they can keep that trajectory up once the difficult opponents start ramping up more into the future.
Yeah, talking about ramping up, I got someone who's ramping down. CLG started off really well, so their place in the standings is still pretty high, but in the last couple of weeks, I feel like they've just been like getting steadily worse. Like we're seeing, early game not being good. We're seeing like jungler being in weird spots. Now we're seeing like team fight mispositions. So the team who was talking so much about how coordinated they are now are looking like very lost. So I'm expecting to see CLG drop.
Yeah, I agree on that too. I think GGS as a whole has been looking really good, but I do think CLG is a team that everyone's eyes should be on if they're going to pull their things together. I think the replacement of, or like the swap between Rune and Deus has been quite detrimental to them. I feel like they kind of lost their identity as a team. But yeah, I think GGS is definitely going to make playoffs, and I feel like Closer and Demonte have been playing really well, and I don't think they'll stop anytime soon.
Quick last hit there is that CLG actually does have the hardest strength of schedule remaining as well between all 10 teams.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that they're definitely going to have to try and surpass, because in week number 7, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We are in the narrow race for playoffs, and the off-season format or the postseason format rather, has actually made a change. Here are some of the SparkNote takeaways for everyone to consider. The top 8 teams will be making playoffs, the top 6 of which will earn a double elimination opportunity. In all honesty, though, top 2 are where many teams have their eyes, being that you earn a bye going into the playoffs.
I mean, teams got to get their eyes off top, too, because I don't think anyone has a chance anymore. We're just showing the standings. This is how the playoff bracket would look right now if it ended today. And C9 and TL would take the buys, and I would expect them to actually hold on to those just because they have a 3-game lead over the closest team in TSM. That means if they go 3-3, TSM still needs to go 6-0 just to tie them, and I think that likelihood of happening is close to 0. So I actually totally expect C9 and TL to kind of actually stay in that position. Even though this is still, 3 weeks out, I don't think that part of this graphic is going to change.
It's also worth noting on this graphic when it comes to tiebreakers, there's nothing of that in order. It really just goes for alphabetical for those that are currently tied in the standings. And probably it's kind of uncertain when you look at the other 6 remaining teams when they're trying to fight for their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, in the last few weeks, we've had so many problems just with our predictions in general because we can't tell how well these teams are performing. We're having, bottom teams beat the top teams. Some of the middle pack teams will beat the top teams and lose to the bottom teams in the same weekend. So we are getting a lot of fluctuation in how teams are playing. So, yeah, I think no one wants to put a lot of money on who the actual, 8 that will make playoffs will be.
You bring up a great point there about how there's been so much uncertainty and just very difficult to predict how a lot of these matches are going to go. And while we think of these changes in terms of what will happen in playoffs, they do seem to have an effect on how things are going here in the regular season. Lorlo, as a player, how does this affect you when you're trying to think about the potential of a team making it into the playoffs?
Yeah, for me personally, I was on Dig or playing LCS when we were 0-8. And if it was any other season, I feel like it would have just been pack it up, time to go home. Just it's the end of the road kind of thing. But with the new system, it gives just more room to just fight for the remaining spot because we were 1 game away from playoffs. I remember there being talks about that. So yeah, then we ended up going 2-0, and that just sparks so much motivation towards just any bottom team. So
and you also have to remember we're playing best of 1, so a team who's not good in best of 1s doesn't mean they're going to get stomped in best of 5. So these bottom teams that could honestly be a good mentality to go into it where it's yeah, right now it's pretty hard, but if we pick up some wins, get into playoffs, we don't need that losers bracket to fight back. All we need is to get in the best of 5s and then show kind of the adaptation we can do. So I'm pretty excited to see more teams in playoffs. And yeah, I do like the surge of the bottom teams because there's hope. They're not that far behind or that far off of getting into playoffs.
I mean, back in the day, it was so miserable. You just hated your life when you were in last place and you started 0-8, like Lorlo said. I've been in that position where you're worried about getting relegated. Am I going to lose my org, their whole spot? The pressure is totally different. I like that there's this optimism that teams can have now that hey, it's never out of the question to really rally and make it into top 8.
Yeah, for sure. I think relegations was terrible for the scene in a way. For me personally, having to play through relegations was just so stressful. So having the chance to prove yourself again in terms of just building up to make playoffs is nice to see because even if a team's struggling, there's the back end of the split that gives you a lot of room to grow, which I like for sure.
There's still a lot of pressure on the teams, particularly in the bottom, though, of the standings. You still have to make it into that top 8. Lorlo, if we're looking at where Dignitas stands and who they have coming up in matches, what do you make of the chances for Dignitas to bring themselves up in the standings?
I think it's definitely doable. I think it's all going to weigh on this week in particular. I feel like the talent is there within Dig, and I've been watching scrims and just been seeing how they're performing, but I think it really just comes down to this week if they can first take a game off TSM and just keep their mental high, because especially after the game they showed versus GGS, I think it's in time of a bounce back type of mentality because that game was a really poor showing. So I'm just looking to boost up their morale and just hopefully we get some dubs this week.
And we'll be keeping our close eye on Dignitas and all of the other teams in the LCS as we narrow in on the past few weeks of this split, because we might actually see some shift in those standings later on today with the matches that we have ahead. Kicking off Friday Night League with Evil Geniuses aiming to make short work of Immortals, and afterwards Team Liquid try to solidify themselves in first place as they face off against FlyQuest. Now, in our contentious ratings, Team Liquid have made quite a rise thanks to their own Core JJ. And Dash was able to catch up with your latest MasterCard Player of the Week to talk about their latest stunning success.
Thank you very much, Tigress. That's right. I'm here with Core JJ, Week 6's MasterCard Player of the Week. Core, it's great to have you here ahead of this week's Week 7. But I got to ask you more of a zoomed out question first. Team Liquid finished 9th place in Spring Split. And now you guys are 10-2 and tied for first place with Cloud9 off the back of 2 deathless Bard games out of you. How did you guys complete this massive turnaround from spring to summer?
Like in Spring Split, like how is creating the environment was definitely bad, but not as bad as ninth place team. Like maybe someone can say, "Oh, this split Team Liquid, they luckily win some games, and then probably last split we luckily lost so many games too." So last split was minus minus. This split is plus plus.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about some of those pluses then. What do you feel changed for you, Core JJ, and for the team in Summer Split that allowed you guys to just skyrocket?
I think we added the coaching step, so they actually prepare really well. Like trying to prepare almost everything. Always, every day they just meeting, talk about our games, how can we do better, and then actually we added tactical too, and then bringing him. So I kind of get a more responsibility to play better, to lead this young, talented player.
How did you, as a person with more experience, help him learn what he would be as a player in the LCS?
Yeah, I was keep saying to Tactical, I don't want to be just like average bot laner. I want you to be the best of best AD carry. So don't lose to anybody. I wanted to give him some future confidence that he can be a better, and also we want to be a very flexible bot laner. Like whatever looks good, we can play. So,
Do you think that your experience coming from North America, a number of years ago and not having much success, back to Korea, winning the world championship, and then coming back, did that give you a different perspective on the game? Do you feel like you're a better mentor now because of what you've achieved?
I don't know because of it, but what we are trying to do is like we actually pick the whatever looks good on situation. So sometimes I said this is not in the meta, but look at this bot comp. This is 2015 bot lane comp. we can just plot the 2015 comp. 2000.
Yeah. You just want that meta back, really, right? So
yeah, I know. I remember the old meta champions, how we play. So we just bring back to like old comp to right now. And then Tactical is very talented to play with any champion, so it is so easy to play.
A lot of people obviously will remember the split where you were the MVP. But there's always been this conversation, especially following spring, about, first all pro and who's the best support in the league. And a lot of people were looking at Vulcan last split. But you have been kicking some ass here in summer. So do you think that you can give him, or do you think you might be the best support in the league again here?
I think there's not big gaps. So maybe we will see on Sunday.
Talk to me about that matchup. You've got, again, the younger AD carry in tactical alongside yourself up against Sven, the really veteran AD carry. How about that matchup? How are you feeling about the way that tactical is going to step up to play?
The older blood cannot win the young blood.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Core JJ, I just want to close by asking you, any other thoughts on your growth, specifically your growth this year? Because I think it's been very interesting for people to look at a player who's had some real serious ups and downs, right? To go and win the world championship, but then, a couple splits later to be ninth in the LCS and then turn it around, right? I think there's a lot to be learned from a player who has your kind of persistence, that you keep going forward. So any words of wisdom for players who want to improve, get better, just like you, and maybe one day reach for the stars?
Maybe don't lose the confidence. It's really important to me. Actually, all the skills is coming from the confidence. So even though I did the ninth place last season, I never thought I'm ninth place support player. So I think
there it is.
having a confidence, and then if you have a reason why you have a confidence, then it's important. Like for example, if you are high on solo rank, if you are good at scrim, if you have those things, if you have good career, doesn't matter.
There it is. It's all about the mindset, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Court JJ, for joining me. Best of luck in your matchups against FlyQuest and C9 this week.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us here in the MasterCard Player of the Week interview. Now we're heading back to the State Farm Analyst Desk to listen to a little bit more of the breakdown for TL's first matchup against FlyQuest.
Thank you so much, Dash, for that wonderful interview. Team Liquid are entering this week tied for first place, largely in part to that MVP level performance from Core JJ and what he's been doing to help support the star that is rising here in the bot lane in Tactical.
Yeah, I mean, Core JJ is talking about giving confidence to his AD carry, and we can definitely see that. Here is a 3v4, and Tactical steps up in front of a Lee Sin just to get some autos on him, and he ends up baiting the Lee Sin ult, the Ashe ult, and in this 3v4, he actually ends up just, basically damaging them all the entire time. So this is the kind of confidence play where it's like, this is not a necessary movement in the game. They're actually on a reset, and they're coming back to defend Baron Vision, but Tactical sees a chance. I can do this. I can outplay this player. And he executes on it really well. And this is the kind of confidence and aggression that you like to see from a rookie, and definitely from TL, who's been such a slow team. If they're able to play more aggressive and take these risks, although calculated, I think they're going to be in a lot better spot.
And it is the kind of thing that gives you confidence in the strengths of this team, but it's not like it's always been consistent. They've also had some low aspects to their type of play.
Well, I think they're definitely a top 2 team, and tie for first. They deserve it, and they are playing really well. They're actually probably one of the hardest teams to punish their mistakes, and there are so many great stats to illustrate this. They're first in goal difference at 10, and third in major lead, second in major deficit, meaning how often teams are beating them. Only C9 is better. They have great Baron control and turrets taken, so they're actually doing so well as a team. And yet, there's another side to the coin that you have to acknowledge with this team, which is the speed of which they play. They're 7th in win time, 9th in combined kills per minute. They don't actually control the Drakes that well in the early game. And they do lose pretty quickly when those losses come in. So there is this part that you have to acknowledge with this team. They are so good, but they also have a very distinct play style that seems to have this little negative side to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's a bit bigger of a side than Mark's kind of mentioning, because this is such a Drake heavy meta. We see teams that stack Drakes are almost always the teams who win, the ones who can take 2 before 15 minutes, usually have a lead, usually have control of the game. But right now Jensen's playing well. Right now Tactical and Core JJ, they just got Player of the Week. They're doing well. So if you have a strong mid and bot, how can you not translate that into Dragons? I don't want to completely blame Broxy here, but I do want to say it is his responsibility to help push that rotation when you have these winning lanes to get the Drake. So that's a stat I think that looks really bad for them that they should be shoring up pretty soon.
And as you're both saying, I mean, they are tied in the top spot for a reason. You can't deny a lot of the things that they're doing correctly, but it is interesting to see considering how much they differ from a lot of the teams that are also fighting for those top spots. Lorlo, what do you make of how Team Liquid seems to differentiate themselves from some of the other teams in terms of style?
Yeah, I think they just tend to play less risk-averse. They're really stable and safe. I think there's just a pure focus on just macro decisions for their team, unlike C9, which is a lot more skirmish heavy. Even my time on Team Liquid, when I was coached by Kane back then, he kind of had the same vision, which I think they just kind of push for to this day. And yeah, it's not a wrong way to play the game. I think it's just more slow, stable macro sense, more like the LCK. And yeah, I think it is easy to get wins like that. It's the standard way to play League, and especially with how well Jensen's been playing, I think there's no reason why they're not 10-2. So
Team Liquid, they approach these games with a very clear plan of attack. They stick to that plan of attack. But if we're looking at their opponents in FlyQuest, it feels like there's still some question marks around their performance.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold on FlyQuest yet. Going into summer, I was really hot on them, but when they did the swap to MASH, and they kind of changed their style from this slow macro teamfighting team to a skirmish heavy team, they lost a bit of their identity. But with Turtle coming back, their early game did look a lot more solid. So I'm pretty excited to see how they'll go moving forward. But it's a lot of question marks is a good way to describe it.
We don't want to leave you with too many questions, and later on in the day, we will be hopping into those matches directly, and we will end up seeing EG and TL face off later tonight in Game 2. But for now, we're going to be stepping away and taking a short break. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone, to Friday Night League. We're going to go ahead and run through the top performers of last week with the Samsung SSD Fast 5 to see who is really pulling ahead within their respective roles. A quick overview of the leaderboard show that Sven and Huhi have moved up into the first place position for both of their roles, it seems.
Yep, Sven finally grabbing a spot for C9 after slipping behind in their fastest laps. It's a little surprising to see Blabber overtake him, but finally someone's back up there.
Yeah,
got
it looks
the
like
3 Azir players in mid as well.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of link to the champion and what they actually end up on the leaderboard, but we do want to take a closer look at where the standings in the mid lane position rank, because there's a bit of a difference between those at the top and the averages. What you see on your screen right now are those who are in the lead for the running, hitting level 11 in the mid lane. These are individual timestamps, but if you change them and take a look at the averages, we do see a lot of shifting between the members on your screen.
And Pobelter jumps way up there. It's a little surprising for people that he's been doing a great job in lane, getting his levels and these kind of things. To Lorlo's point, also a bit of a Azir player and playing a lot of the control mages, so there does seem to be something to that when you see Niski further down and whatnot.
Do you think, Lorlo, that people should be trying to prioritize champs that are going to give them that edge when it comes to the SSD Fast 5?
Probably not. I think the bottom echelon of that is like more roaming players. Like Bjergsen's been on like on Fiddlesticks. Demonte's been known for like his roaming and things like that. So I feel like that's why they're not getting as many levels, because they're just out of their lane. So it makes sense for sure with the leaderboard there.
With 2 games ahead, at least the players within those have an opportunity to try to move themselves up. In game number 1, we have the Swole Bros experiment that seems to be rousing success, considering that Evil Geniuses have elected to extend their contract with Golden Glue going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, earlier in the year, we did this kind of fun description of different teams' playstyles when they were tied for second. We called EG the mad scientists with Jizuke, but now with Golden Glue, I think they're taking on more the standard professor in high school, you know, with his predetermined experiments, following the checklist on exactly what to do. You know, Jizuke is popping off, doesn't have his jungler with him, no jungle proximity. He's dying all the time, isolated, but getting a lot of solo kills, whereas, you know, Golden Glue is by the books. He's playing the control mages. He's working with his jungler. He's not pressed up to the turret quite as much.
I gotta tell you though, that's not what my AP bio teacher looked like back in high school. It brings up an interesting point about how the entire identity of EG changes around the mid lane. Lorelo, how much of a difference does it make when you look at the play when Jizuke is in as opposed to Golden Glue?
I feel like it's a little harsh on Golden Glue. I feel like he's not that like much of the consistent side. I feel like he's been more on that side. I think mainly because he's like trying to fit himself into this new team and he doesn't want to like lose that spot, which makes sense from my perspective. But I do see Jizuke's side as well. He's been like kind of coin flip. He's had a lot of pop off games. He's had games where he's looked like pretty whatever and just like completely thrown games. But I feel like Golden Glue still has a lot more to show, and I'm excited to see just that as the weeks go on. So I'm just excited for him. I'm honestly a big Golden Glue fan. So.
It feels like Golden Glue being here also allowed opportunities for other members of the team to play differently. Specifically, if you're looking over in the bot lane, Zeyzal really taking an opportunity for some of the flank positioning.
Oh yeah, Zeyzal's mostly been on Enchanter duty this split, so I wasn't expecting to see him pull out the Alistar, but Alistar did get some recent buffs. And here you can just see him in a really classic kind of position where he's actually not with his team. He's using his pink wards on his side of the map to actually find out a flank and engage the team fight that way. And this is also a bit of C9, like, yeah, people haven't been playing Alistar, so this kind of like, you know, where the hell is Alistar? Someone find him. Just wasn't really, you know, exercised this game. So here's, again, he's hiding on a pink. Hex flashes over, and Sven here doesn't have flash, so he just gets completely demolished by the GP ult and then the Alistar. So these kind of immobile AD carries that are coming out, like, Alistar is going to be able to punish them so well. So I'm really excited that Zeyzal pulled it out, and I'm definitely expecting a lot more supports to be picking it a lot more often.
And we'll have to see how the opposite side of the map ends up responding. Immortals, we've seen these stars starting to rise, but still waiting for some of those execution errors to be brushed off.
When I talk about Immortals, we always point out their mistakes in these like late game situations, but they're almost always executional versus decision making or macro understanding, which I think is something we should give them more credit for. I almost never watch an Immortals game and go, "What the hell is this team doing?" Whereas that does actually happen a fair amount watching the North American LCS and some of the other teams. So I do want to give them a little bit more credit for Smithy, Apollo, Hakuho, Insanity, and Alarm all being on the same page with what they're trying to do in the game and executing their win conditions. Whether or not they actually press the buttons at the exact right time is a different question, but I do think they're working pretty well as a five-man unit.
Now, Lorelo, you've had experience directly with Insanity. What do you make of his performance thus far within the LCS?
Yeah, I actually played with him in TCS for those that don't know, the Title 1 Championship Series in this offseason, but I had a little bit of time with him. I think he has a really nice approach to the game. I think it's the more open-minded approach, which I really respect out of especially up-and-coming players. I feel like he's down to play whatever in each given situation, and I think he's going to be a big factor in today's game with just what he's going to play, because I feel like his Karthus, his Kog has looked both really strong, and I'm just excited if he's going to pull something else out as well. Maybe the Zed, we'll see.
Maybe not quite that far. It's not quite the TCS, the prestigious North American tournament. But I do agree that like I'm very impressed with his ability to take new picks in solo queue. Karthus gets buffs, instantly playing it as soon as it's available, which is something that we can be a little slow on sometimes, is picking up those new champions.
And we are moments away from getting into that game directly, but there is one thing that we want to address first before we do so, because just like last split's Tree Quest initiative, FlyQuest Sea Quest initiative has been making waves fundraising for the Coral Reef Alliance. Now, FlyQuest has been donating $1 for every FlyQuest kill, $10 for every Ocean Drake taken, and $100 for every FlyQuest win, and so far have raised $3,352. If you want to learn more about their initiative or contribute yourself, check out flyquest.gg or follow FlyQuest on Twitter. But one aspect of the initiative that has been extremely fun to track is the addition of the FlyQuest tank, which has its participants weighing in on split long predictions. So far this week, we have the State Farm Analyst Desk versus the Fish Gods. And for a point of comparison, I need you all to be aware that these animals have 1/1500th the size of the average human brain. And quite frankly, I'm not sure how y'all are going to stack up.
Pretty good, considering they almost have as many losses as we do. I should stop using quite as much brain power to give them a fair chance.
Yeah,
it's too easy.
We need to go to the coin system. I think that's going to be that's stronger than this.
Hey, I think you have a lot to be proud of, though, looking at these predictive rates, 42-18, 44-15. I mean, Lorlo, do you think that these fish might be the best predictive bots out there, better than any statisticians?
We'll find out, I guess. I'm not sure.
Fish suck. Let's be honest. Why are we pretending like this is close? They're awful.
Hey, they were close during the upset weeks when we were like 3-8. I think they were beating us then.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let the fish speak for themselves, so let's find out what their predictions were for today's games.
Colors up. Congratulations to Immortals getting their Fish God's Blessing Freak. No evil genius for our fish today.
That's all right.
All right.
I think it's a defensible choice.
That's all right. We put it in the middle. We put it in we do our best to put it in the middle. As we have 10 seconds left on the FlyQuest Fish Feeding Friends, we got 8, 7, 6, 5,
Oh, it's
4,
close.
3,
Oh.
2, 1.
Oh.
Freeze it!
That's a confirmed FlyQuest right
That's,
there.
I believe, a confirmed FlyQuest.
All right, so our fishy predictions are in. I believe we have the predictions from our analysts with Prolly and Mark as well for Game 1 and Game 2. You can see it right there on your screen. I mean, the fish are really going a little bit of a different way compared to our analysts, Mark and Prolly, taking EG for the first game. Lorlo, what is your prediction?
I'm still going to go with EG, but I'm going to emphasize that I'm really watching for the mid lane matchup. This game in particular, I want to see what Insanity pulls out, and my eyes are on the mid lane matchup for sure.
And for the second game, it looks like Team Liquid on the side of our analysts. Do you reside with them as well?
In terms of that, I think I'm always just for TL here. I think 100% TL for me. I don't think it's going to be close. Yeah, TL fan at heart.
Yeah, same.
Well, I'll have you all know that at least Nemo the Clownfish ended up siding with everybody on the analyst desk. And now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Game 1 is ready to go for Friday Night League. Let's send it over to the casters.
Awesome. Thank you so much, the Tigress and crew. Kobe, let's get into game. I'm so excited to see what we have for us today. It is going to be Evil Geniuses versus Immortals. EG just came off of, last week I call like a mini gauntlet for them. TL and Cloud9, but they were able to take down Cloud9, so they got to be feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the hottest teams in the league. They make the switch, bringing Golden Glue and Hooney in so they can rotate around, work with the import slots, and they're coming fresh off their win versus Cloud9. Not only was it taking down Cloud9, which had been done before, but it was also in a really, really remarkable fashion. Clean play from EG, and they had a really good game plan coming straight out of Champions Select. So that's what I'm looking for this time around, because both these teams have very clear priorities on Champions for Champ Select. Golden Glue, I have to say, by far his best champion has got to be Zoe. So that's going to be something to think about for Immortals. They're on red side, which I think is very valuable against EG. When EG have so many champions you associate with a player, Immortals can do more target banning from the red side here. Obviously, Hooney has his Gangplank and Rumble that you always have to worry about. And the reason that we always say that, his win rate all time on Rumble is over 70%. And it's also one of his most picked champions. So it's not like a small sample size.
We're seeing it more and more, too.
Yeah, and for good reason there. So, again, yeah, the Golden Glue Zoe, that's going to be another big one. On the side of Immortals, they have these more unique picks the Analyst was talking about for both the solo laners that they brought up with Academy. I really like how Insanity has been going with the later, very high damage per minute Kog'Maw and Karthus picks for the mid lane.
Yeah.
And Alorm, I mean, you gotta like the Urgot game where he smashed lane at least. He's been playing tons of Urgot for years.
I think that's one of the things that is surprising about Alorum as well. Is looking at the champion pools, he has the Ornn, the Malphite, still goes tanky side. Urgot is a bit tanky as well, but he's more aggressive, brings a different play style, and Immortals are using that to great effect here with the rest of the squad. We see the final pick, ban phase rather, and priority pick becomes Aphelios for Bang.
Yep.
That bot side.
No change in the Aphelios priority there for Bang. So it should be Ezreal or Ashe for the Immortals pickup for Apollo. Both of them have pretty good range advantage on Aphelios. Ashe, you can do Volley, which will apply double the slow for your passive. Then you can get your auto in with Ashe's 600 range. So I really like that one. The Ezreal is obviously just the Mystic Shot spam. And they'll go with option number 1. Definitely a good choice right now because I think Hard Engages is also really important versus EG because you're going to want to be able to force those mid-game plays. Ashe is going to bring that and also allow you to track Svenskeren.
Galio is also left up. Good arrow follow-up here if Immortals want to get that for Insanity in a pretty safe mid lane. Graves is going to be picked up for damage in the jungle. And we'll see what the 2-3 here for Evil Geniuses is. Volibear left up as well. Quite a few priority picks. There were a lot of targeted bans, as you were saying earlier, which is leaving up some pretty good selections. The Gangplank's actually going to get locked in. So across the top side of the map, and then the AD. All right.
Yeah, that's a classic one that I was talking about with the Rumble Gangplank for Huni. Pretty much everybody opts to ban the Rumble, and then he gets his hand on Gangplank once again. Had a very good performance last time around. We saw with the Cloud9 win. Even though he did get really aggressive and give up a death early on, flashing forward. Oh, we're going to get all the specialties here. The Huni Gangplank versus the Alorum Urgot. Last time around, Alorum actually smashed lane, worked himself up a very nice CS lead, even though they ended up losing the game. And one thing about Urgot is you can definitely go for these early plays onto Gangplank if you call your jungler.
I love it. He turns around so many fights, too. And much like a Rumble can, we talk about Rumble turning around a gank in a 2v1. Urgot has a bit of that same potential with the damage he can spit out from the knee shotguns there. Thresh and Bard getting banned out, seeing a lot more Bard with the Herald stopping plays and just overall game control. Wow.
Yep, one of the biggest denials. Laugh every time you see it. The enemy team puts in so much work to get the Rift Herald, and Bard, the king of denial, won't be on the Rift, though. Thresh is also one of the most banned second round of banned champions that we have in the entire LCS because support is usually saved for later on in the draft, but Thresh is one of the highest prize as far as blind picking supports. He's just so good at everything, and both teams here are still looking for that. I would say another form of engage for Immortals would be good. Probably another form of CC support. Zeyzal's Alistar was so big for them in their win versus Cloud9, and that is still up. So Immortals could try and snag it here before letting it go over. But it looks like they just want that secure damage for Insanity later in the game, as usual. And the Azir is a good way to go about it.
Waiting on support from Immortals then with the final 4-5 pick here from Evil Geniuses. You talked about the Zoe. First thing you said, Kobe, coming in the champion select.
Surprise! Golden Glue Zoe. Honestly, it's a really good look for him. Because Zoe right now, some of her biggest strengths are that she doesn't have to take a lot of risks towards the mid game and can gain so much value from looking for picks. You just fish around with your bubbles. You continually go for this long range poke. It's also very good against specifically Azir because you're trying to outrange him, not stay in range of the Sand Soldiers for long, and Zoe's going to do exactly that. So we get almost all the champions that we asked for, Riff, with the iconic champions for these players. Zeyzal's Alistar also getting in there at the end. We'll see if he can be a big part of the playmaking for this team. He definitely was last weekend.
We got to keep an eye on the vision EG is controlling then, especially because Zeyzal was using the Hex Flash to engage from even a slight flank. And that's what took the enemy by surprise, right? You wouldn't think anybody would be coming from that area to create an engage.
Keep your eyes on the cow.
That is exactly right. Too bad. Too bad he actually doesn't have like a cowbell going off when he starts engaging for the spectators, and we can add that later.
You're going to pause and taunt them before you go in? If you could spam taunt while you're charging the Hex Flash, that would be sick.
And Kobe, we have Golden Glue back, and we got to reiterate it. He's now in there for Evil Geniuses, and they're trying something here towards the middle of the season to get a few more wins under their belt. And Golden Glue has always been a solid player, but it seems like the story has been Scrim Glue, not Stage Glue.
Well, thankfully for them, they don't have to go to a stage now for the stage glue.
This is true.
They're just going to have glue all over here with Zoe throwing the bubbles, trying to get people stuck as well.
Good point.
Let's see.
Point.
Looks like it's mostly defensive openings. Let's check and see how many sweepers have been picked up, because that's a new indicator where they actually made a change. And I know the bounce team was always a little bit annoyed about the ability of specifically junglers would start with the trinket ward. Never mind. We'll pause on that as Xmithy gets right in there.
Got it. Good money. Continue.
Anyways, yeah, it's the old strategy where people would start with trinket ward, place it down, then recall and get a fully ready sweeper. They put in a little bit of a delay for that. So I like the little change. You actually have to commit to what your choice is, and you can see that Hakuho did get one. Braum is extremely good at level 1s because your passive is basically a whole nother ability landing that stun. And Immortals tried to use that to invade on bottom side, but good defense there from EG.
So knowledge there from Alorum walking over a forward ward. He lets them know you'll be seeing it red for Xmithy. Oh, just stays in, but he's going to miss that. Yeah, just a few knees. Few knees there. A little arthritis on that first play, if you will.
Yeah, it's a big thing to watch when you're laying against Urgot because there is so much damage in that passive, and you can just see visually too which knees have already been popped, and you can try and stay on that side so that he doesn't get the extra damage in that trade. And you see Huni, he just charges up his grasp on the minions and then gets it off. Ooh, good disengage.
Good brawl. There's a lockdown, concussive blows as they trade damage. Zazel should be able to heal this back up over time here, but it's going to take quite a bit. Looking for level 2. Hakuo's doing great positioning in the brush to just give Apollo free farm as the biscuits are being eaten up here on the bot side of the map.
Yeah.
Good little initiation before level 2 even. I like that.
Yeah, because they know they've got the minion advantage. They're holding the last melee minion there over banging Zazel's head, saying as soon as this one goes down, you know what's coming, the level 2, and they can all in. That's what comes from getting early control of the minion wave. But at this level, obviously, both laners are counting the minions. And so everybody knows on that last minion, that's going to be the spike. Sven went for the invade here onto Xmithy, though.
Golden Glue has that inside track to the fight as well if anything were to happen as he damages up Insanity. Takes a bit of minion damage, though, for his troubles, allowing this to be a 1v1 in the jungle more so. As Xmithy's getting hit up by Red here. Now it's going to be the dance back and forth. They're just making Bramble angry. And inside track here by Huni now as he starts to leave lane. This is going to get a little scary for Xmithy in a second.
Yeah, this is going to be the third time that they reset the patience on the Reds. Svenskaren's just been living in this jungle. Yep, third time reset here. Huni comes over to complete the invade, though. He's got a blast cone, but Xmithy's getting out of there. Finally, Xmithy has also given up full patience on this red buff. And Svenskaren, you know, the extra time spent is going to be rewarded there because the laners get to come help. Counter jungling is so often a team game. Both Golden Glue and Huni allow Svenskaren to make the play.
It was Scuttle bot crew if they made it in time. We see the hawk shot coming across the map.
One of the most annoying abilities as a jungler, if I don't say so myself. You get a little rage every time the enemy bottom lane does, get the extra info. But off of the red steal, Svenskaren just completely controls the map. He took the top crab already, so Xmithy doesn't have anything to get there. The only thing he could go for would be the enemy Gromp, and he still has to worry about a collapse from the enemy laners. Svenskaren gets a double crab on him. He's absolutely dominating him in CS off of the early play. And there's an interesting stat here where Svenskaren and Xmithy are the two lowest encounter jungle percentage for all LCS junglers. But Svenskaren slightly above Xmithy, and he did get the extra advantage off of this invade. Xmithy does get back the small Gromp, but he's still significantly behind.
And what is encounter jungle specific?
So counter jungle percentage is the percentage of time between 3 and 15 minutes that you spend in the enemy jungle quadrants.
Okay.
Svenskaren obviously going to up his numbers with that red steal as he spent a lot of time over there. But he wasn't wasting time, right? Because he was also delaying Xmithy's farming,
Yeah.
and that's important. You're trying to get a big difference.
Ooh, nice little dodge there. Bang and Zazel keep Apollo harassed at his turret. Farm's going to be cleaned up. Nobody really has the advantage there as we see a few items getting completed in the inventories right now, allowing you to see a little bit better of the breakpoints that are hitting for everybody, maybe during fights or if they pocketed something just before the fight. Really, really helps. We can see the items also upgrading from tiers during that as well.
And I want to talk a little bit more about jungle philosophy, because both junglers do have extra information now. Xmithy knows there's nothing topside for Svenskeren, so the entire team should know for Immortals that Svenskeren is bottom side as well. Svenskeren, obviously off of the invade, can pin down Xmithy here, but these are the things that you look for after the invades. They know that this is the empty quadrant, so the bear has to be down here, and that's why you see him not going for, trying to force a play or anything, and he's just trying to recoup the extra camps, and Svenskeren is increasing his lead.
So are you actually trying to do anything within that time or play safe during it until you can gain more info? Like now he leaves the bottom quadrant.
Yeah, it's Immortals that have to play safe, and Svenskeren tries to get an extra edge out of it. But as you see there, even though the wave was getting pushed up like that, Apollo and Hakuho are like, oh my goodness, we know there's nothing on the top side of the map for him, so we're gonna have to give over control, and Bang with the flamethrower should be able to push that out.
Back up to Alorum and Huni as they go punch for punch in this lane. A bit of a CS discrepancy as Huni crashed that wave a few times into the turret to Stain back. He's going to get a heal in quick with the orange as he flash Qs. Get a quick heal for himself. And a bit of a run here. See if he can get outside of Xmithy's danger zone. Sets up a barrel. Going to be behind him now. He's going to get help from Golden Glue, who's slowing himself down a little bit. Trouble Bubble to come across. Paddle first to deny that damage. Oh, he's going to get him right on his return spot. There's Shuffle coming in from Insanity, but there's no mana to follow up. It had been wasted in the lane, or used in the lane, I should say, and it couldn't capitalize there. So Golden Glue knew he could be a little bit more reckless in his engage there.
And this is kind of a Huni special, where he's taking a lot of pressure on the top side, and it was important that before he flashed away, he was able to blow up the barrel, because blowing up the barrel gives you the move speed from your Trial by Fire passive, so it allows him to run around there. And even though they give up something on the top side of the jungle here with the blue, and Xmithy's get a little bit back, no kills are had by Immortals, and Svenskeren was able to make the opportunity on the bottom side well worth it as they pick up the first dragon for Evil Geniuses. I don't think Golden Glue actually had to go for the extra poke onto Xmithy there when he goes for the Paddle Star plus R, and that allowed Insanity to actually ultimate and take down the real flash from Zoe. So I think that's the one thing for Immortals that they can try and play off of now. Yes, they did give up Dragon, but maybe you can actually punish this Zoe, target Golden Glue while his real flash is down.
Xmithy saying, take this, fight someone your own size. But yeah,
sending him in like a Pokemon, eh?
Yeah. I choose you, Shelly. Golden Glue, still slippery, but without that flash, we'll have to manage a bit more in positioning. Looks like Rift Herald will go for now. Xmithy knows he has a bit of time to check it so far. They're going to play this just close enough to make it a steal situation. I love the knowledge he tried to use there to get it. That smite's going to go down. I believe it is in the hands right now of Svenskeren as he makes his way out with the ultimate. We have a teleport coming in there, too.
Yep, Summoner Spellbook.
Yeah.
Right there from.
Like, wait a minute.
It's the old support flank teleport there coming in from Summoner Spellbook, and it pushes actually Apollo, off the turret. Picked up an extra turret plate here. That's number 2 for Bang and Zazel. Extra cash early on into the pockets of Aphelios feels really nice, because Aphelios on 2-3 core items then really becomes the area where you get to start to outpace the Ashe.
A lot of free farming going on down here. They haven't had too much trouble back and forth. Svenskeren has shown himself a few times, but you're just going to catch a volley to the face. Very hard to engage on. The action's been here. Again, they go in on each other. I love this, Kobe. They are just wearing each other down for the next visit from Svenskeren or Xmithy, or someone steps out of position. The orange is really giving Huni the benefit in that lane, though, right now, as we see a chase on Svenskeren. Hakuo slow. They leave the marksman out to dry. Apollo's forced to flash as he volleys backwards, trying to get that Ranger's focus up. And Glacial Fissure will end this fight as EG falls slowly down into that disengage. And now they have quite a bit bot lane. Gonna have to look for the return on investment. It's gonna be these plates.
Yeah.
They should be able to drop this turret. It's only gonna leave one plate up if the Rift Herald hits first.
They're actually rotating Insanity down for Immortal's side because with Rift Herald used early. Oh.
Uh-oh. Sven flashes, Zazel in, so there's already a double disengage there with follow-up damage. That's Moonlight Vigil Infernal, but it's not going to do too much as they spread from each other nicely. Immortals is positioning well, but still, Insanity, the caboose on the exit of that fight, gets taken down and knocked off the rails. Xmithy getting followed up by Golden Glue here. A few more sparkles, baby. Grom's going to do the damage. Oh, my word. The corrupting, rather healing from just attacking with his item, jungle item. Him alive. That was pretty touch and go there for Immortals. They did lose Insanity and they lost their bottom turret.
Yeah, it's a huge victory there for Evil Geniuses, even though Golden Glue is not able to get another one of those low health targets down with 3 of them scrambling around. Just look at this play. Off of the stun, they get a really good counter engage by Zazel once again. Alistar sets up Xmithy. And if it wasn't for his flash there, you know, he gets popped with the paddle star. Bang then, after ulting, flashes Insanity's engage, and there's nothing left for him because all of Immortals had already been chunked out. So that's a re-engage from Insanity with no escape ready for himself. And EG just gets to eat the entire bottom side. They take the skirmish victory. They take the entire tower riv. And this is setting them up for an easy Infernal Drake as well, since they've been able to spend all that money they just got off the bottom side of the map for the team fight. Considering they already were able to trade the pressure top side for Dragon number 1, this is looking exceptionally well for the Evil Geniuses.
Probably feels good as well for Golden Glue to carry this momentum into this game. And further on, hopefully, for the team. Communication seems to be spot on. Everybody's participating in these early fights and roams, especially Svenskeren early in the jungle. Both lanes, mid and top, were pushed to make sure Xmithy had a hard time. So they've been at it from moment 1 here. Svenskeren now going to get pushed off of Infernal, dodges out. Big Bear, but still has some moves.
Yeah, Golden Glue's running around, but Immortals are burning it down.
Zazel goes in. That's going to be Xmithy's Infernal. But that is Xmithy going down almost immediately. Apollo gets hit by a paddle star right in the kisser, but he's going to be able to deliver back damage to Golden Glue with the Rangers focus almost up. Firing coming in from Bang there, but it's not going to be too much damage as they try to finish off what's in the pit. Hakuo is about to go down. Apollo, a sliver of health. Hakuo, a sliver of health as they limp away. And Huni just says, Alorum, get off me so I can take down your teammates. But that is such a valiant attempt to scrape together the EG members so the rest of Immortals could get out safely.
Yeah, Immortals, they really just did not want to allow dragon stacking to start for EG, but this is so early to make that contest. When you're this far behind, you just lost a giant fight on bottom side and a bunch of tower gold and all the turret plates, and EG got to actually go purchase. There's a very small timing window where Immortals actually had a choice of trying to burn the dragon and get out. But you see this. Yeah. Even though they do get the steal, and Insanity goes in, he tries to get the sweep back onto Golden Glue there. Picked up with the challenging smite for himself. He's able to chase him down. But Bang was able to come back with the Infinity Edge, and Huni flashing over the wall trying to scramble after the Immortals bottom lane. Won't get either of those two, but Alorum has nowhere else to go.
That was huge for Bang. My eyes trailed over the Hakuo in the pit, and I didn't see that Infernum proc 2 more times and actually onto Apollo. So hot stuff, keeping them on their toes, and they were actually pretty well distanced from each other in that fight too, expecting the Infernum, but Bang still found his mark on that fight. Beautifully done by Evil Geniuses. So far, 4-2 in kills, but full map control means they can continue to engage even in Immortals jungle. And no one is safe. Hakuo goes down. He just came back up. We just saw him go down in the pit. Rinse and repeat here for EG as they look to take down top turret with Aphelios and still pressure mid.
Yeah, Riv, you look at the compositions. If you get an early lead like this, okay, that's going to be a miss.
All right. Slippery shuffle. Nice moves by Golden Glue, kind of expecting that one.
Yeah. He's also got a chilling smite in his hands right now for even more move speed with Zoe. Definitely a very difficult champion to lock down. Zeyzal's threatening a engage on the side, but I think it's just to actually alleviate some of the pressure on the tower because they still have Bang on top side. He gets another tower to himself, takes it down, gets the local gold. Zeyzal and Svenskeren should be able to kite away from the Immortals members here. Now, there is an arrow ready for Apollo, but he could not find a good target. EG wait out, and they avoid the possibility there of Immortals really getting anything. Now it's just objective after objective for themselves. And what I was about to say earlier, if you have a lead and you have Alistar plus a Volley
You can
Bear,
see it right there.
those are the two best diving champions in the game. Alistar from the support role because of the ultimate, able to deny so much damage, and Zeyzal can obviously set it up with the CC, and then Volley Bear can even turn off the turrets. So that's why we're expecting this to just be a steamroll game from EG. Svenskeren dodges.
Slippery move. You're saying he couldn't find a target, and even in the channel of the jungle, Svenskeren still finds a way to get out. Immortals,
move speed.
yeah, Immortals, they have windows of opportunity, but now they're kind of just telegraphed here for Evil Geniuses, and as soon as EG feels like, hey, we're pushed up, but there is too much fog of war just ahead of us, this is where the arrow's going to come. Stay split, get ready for your move speed, that move speed steroid, and it's been impossible for these arrows to hit so far. Alorum now a bit of the focus towards the bot side of the map with 3 members of EG focusing to see if they can find any trouble.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult for Immortals, but what they need to do is continue to use these control wards so Apollo gets the fire from the fog of war so you don't see it coming, and then try and use it. Go for a target that is not Huni because he can eat oranges, obviously, get right out of it with Scurvy, remove Scurvy. Svenskeren has shown that with the Q move speed, he can definitely pull off the dancing moves and dodge. So you're mainly looking at Aphelios because Zoe also R is a really easy to dodge the arrow as well. You just have to dodge the back of the arrow because that's where the hitbox is. So he's basically got his eyes on Bang. He's trying to blow Bang's summoner spells. Apart from that, it is EG invading and taking away so many of these wards and so many of these opportunities from Immortals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. We still see Aphelios going to players like Bang. Play number 7 on the summer split for him in 4-0-0. I mean, there's a reason they keep picking it. Dominating a lane, now able to dominate fights. Here comes Rift Herald towards mid, and Immortals being pushed off, but Alorum never says no. Always going forward. I love this guy. He may go down for his troubles, though, as no one can follow that tanky man. And he goes down. It's coming up on 20 minutes, but things should be reset for that Baron. 4 big plays. It's just EG is grabbing so much map control. Immortals may not have a chance
Riv,
to even go to Baron.
There's just an objective pinata on Summoner's Rift right now. EG are popping it open. They're getting tower on bottom side. They're getting Dragon with 2 members. They're sending 3 people up to top side. They were going to cut off Insanity to make sure he couldn't get that top turret. And there you go. They collect all the objectives after that. Bubble into Gangplank ult. That's all it took to force Apollo out of the fight. And Alorum charges in. He's not going to let his AD carry get attacked, sacrificing himself. You know, noble efforts there, but it's not going to change the course of the game. In fact, it might even accelerate it here as Bang, you know, now with the 4 kills, he's gonna get to his 4 items extremely quick. Crit multipliers already coming in for EG.
So much strength on that side. I like how I called Alorum the tanky man, just the tankiest on the team. Maybe once that Gargoyle Stoneplate comes up for Hakuo, Alorum is really just putting himself on the front line, though. Black Cleaver and a bit of a shield through his utility, keeping him alive in those fights. Oh, my word. Immortals trying to set up, looking for Apollo to get a lot of these minions. He's been the one cleaning up mid. Blade of the Rune King's there, but these fights are just so quickly in his face. He is slowing someone down, doesn't even matter. Zeyzal closes the gap with a Hex Flash or a Headbutt Pulverize. There you go.
It's like slowing down an enemy that is twice as dangerous as you, right? You can try and kite him, you can try and keep him slow, but you're going to need a lot of help to be able to find that victory. And right now, they're actually just kind of looking for areas that they can safely farm Apollo and Insanity. The mid tower here, the secondary one, is almost about to fall anyway, so that's not actually providing a lot of defense for them. And they shift Insanity topside, trying to keep Apollo mid, but their jungle is going to be so difficult to defend. And with Baron about to arrive on the map, it's going to be very easy for Evil Geniuses to accelerate this. Smithy and Hakuo are able to take the chicken before they have to run for their lives.
Smithy just needs to steal something.
Steal
That's all. He just needs the
from his
opportunity.
own jungle. He's like, please, just let me get my own
Not the
chicken.
jungle, an objective. But yeah, still,
yeah.
the jungle would be a start. I think that'd be an area to get some ground in. Right now, they have wards littering their side of the jungle. It's just nothing they can play off of or getting a return on investment. Trying to now push out EG towards the top side of their map. 4 members of Immortals are here. Well, again, the 1v1 of Alorm and Huni goes down. Mano a mano over towards the Dragon Pit. Oh, it's over the scuttle. I'm sorry. Don't worry.
Oh, who's going to get it? Oh, Alorm is the victor for now. But
Tip my hat to you, sir. Or my knee.
No stun.
Oh, wait. Oh, my word. If the barrel was there or any were charged up, dude, that would have been Alorm walking the plank. Whew. I don't know. Can you swim with that many legs?
I'm going to go with
Maybe
no.
if they're that short.
Maybe if he had the crab got skin, then
That's
he
true.
might be
That
able to
doesn't
get
matter.
out of
You
it.
just crawl across the bottom.
At least he got the Scuttle Crab. Teleport for Scuttle Crab
Yeah,
at this point
yeah,
for
yeah,
Immortals.
yeah,
You know, maybe you say you count that one. For EG, I think it's so cool how they have been able to push it ahead, because previously there was a really cool interview from Zazel, and he talked about when he joined Evil Geniuses, he took on basically another role that was not a role he had when he was on Cloud9. On Cloud9, he was a lot about, getting the initiations for the team, and he still does that for Evil Geniuses, but he also said that he wants to direct more of the macro for the team, be what people refer to in other games as the in-game leader, right? IGL Zazel, basically. And I think a lot of credit is deservedly going his way in that perspective, but also since they've added Huni, all of Huni's former teammates talk so highly of how much he is able to add in those terms, and I think it's really helpful when not only your playmaking support, your engage is your IGL, but also when you have a side laner like Huni who has that global with Gangplank that also is lending so much extra information and helping out with that communication for the team.
It's awesome to see that people take on that objective as well, because when things aren't working out, it's difficult to be an in-game leader. So they are taking on more responsibility right there. It's not just when they're calling, it's the pressure of, hey, my calls aren't working, we need to change it up, and the team's still following that. And that is the kind of the teamwork we're seeing here. They've been in the lead, so it's not the comeback calls we're seeing. It's just the full bore,
I love making calls in this position, right? It's like, all right, take everything from them. Let's invade the jungle. Lay down all the wards. Take away their vision. Golden Glue does have to burn his real flash there, though. So Immortals still, they're trying to make these peaks from the brush, trying to get a cooldown here or there, a summoner spell. There's another one.
Here's the fight. One shuffle back. Svenskaren's going to jump over that wall. You cannot divide him from the fight. And the Swole Bros will try to get themselves in for a bit of an attack. A good stop. Hakuo is going to be able to do that with Braum, but 4 ultimates used there with Alorm's being up as he approaches the fight from the side. And a few ultimates still up here for the side of Evil Geniuses. If Zazel wants to help dive a turret, they can do so, but it seems like the team will back as they don't quite have their Huni, as he has taken down Drake by himself. Getting them on soul point here for the side of EG. And a final shot will do it as they look at one more Mountain Drake.
Yeah, that's the bonus of having this much map control and setting up and keeping with a 4-1. Since Huni is diligently working away, always in a side lane, always able to fight Alorm in the 1v1, plus lending the threat of his Gangplank ultimate to the 4 squad on the other half of the map, then, if there's an engagement like that and EG are able to evade and even possibly get a kill for themselves on that side, you also have the upper hand where Huni can just slip back, get the 3rd dragon without an effort, and set up this very easy Soul Drake point for themselves.
Death's Dance now for Alorum. Huge item for him with just the kind of playstyle he's been putting in front of Evil Geniuses this game. Have that. Leandri's finished up as well. Gargoyle Stoneplate is there for core items. Not going to take EG by surprise, but definitely give them a harder time to burst the Immortal squad out if Hakuo can be on that front line. Big gold lead, though. Just about 6,000 gold. Actually, 6,000 gold here for EG as they continue to walk around Immortal's jungle. Alorum and Huni just continue to go back and forth. I love the dedication to them just staying on the side here and going back and forth at each other. I mean, Alorum has to do janitorial duty on these waves getting pushed in, but look at the gold difference just overall from the champion pick, right? And then just, wow.
And especially that 80 carry roll. You look at that item just completed here, Lord Dominic's for Bang. He is so far ahead, almost the 4,000 gold. There's the teleport in from Golden Glue with the extra speed, but Alorum is outie with the flash.
All right, Evil Geniuses. It seems like they've had enough of waiting, and Immortals is making them wait. One thing I don't realize is why they're making them wait so long, because they're just letting Immortals get bigger. I don't think Evil Geniuses is any trouble yet, but they are stalling quite a bit here. It's only 26 minutes in, but it feels like nothing has happened for quite a while with just Huni taking the last Drake, the map kind of being walked around. EG still in the lead. They get the arrow out, and maybe this will trigger them to be a bit more confident on the push here.
Honestly, I think it is a pretty good pace still for EG, since two of the things they're worried about are the walls. It is Braum wall and it is Azir wall.
True.
There's some pretty good counter engage on the side of Immortals, and Immortals are playing 100% defense. They're huddling, they're cowering inside their own towers, and they only venture out into the little edges of their jungle to try and put up these wards. So EG are continually, as you see on the screen now, they're taking away those resources, taking away the raptors, all the jungle stuff. They've got a Mountain Soul arriving in 2 minutes. And the biggest change to the meta with all the preseason stuff was that the Soul point for Dragon, it not only adds another one of these like very epic objectives that adds a lot of power, but the big difference between that and Baron is if you do the early work and you stack the dragons, there's no danger in you starting it up. With Baron, you're like, oh my goodness, you know, it takes a long time. It actually does significant damage, and you're a little bit worried about grouping inside a pit because maybe the enemy team can make a big comeback play there, try and stop you.
Yep. According to this, you should be rewarded.
Yeah, exactly. But then with the Soul, the team's like, all right, well, we've got this little baby dragon attacking us. We can easily turn around on you and go for a counter engage. So that's why they're waiting for the Soul point. It's just so it's so little risk and such a big reward.
Well, they have built that reward now, so they can get that risk if they want it. Here, pushing over with 1 minute, they're going to get a bit of vision control on it. And Evil Genius is looking great towards the end of the split here. A win here moves them to 7-6. They look at Dignitas as well this week with TSM and Fly next week, so still some tough games to get through, and then in their final Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves. So nothing they can slouch on. Obviously they won't, but changing things up here, they really want to see a rally in Game 1, and they are getting it. Week 7 seems to be working out for him. Zazel takes quite a bit of damage to start things off, still has the ultimate if he wants to break in that Iron Will to get into the fight. And nobody's really going to fully initiate. He throws it down, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Immortal saw that completely on the end. It may have been in Alorum's vision as he was getting auto attack there.
I think that was actually very good for Immortals.
Yeah.
Alistar without, they chunk down Zazel, and then they also get the cooldown of the ultimate. There's no Gangplank ultimate. There's no Volibear ultimate. The frontline cooldowns have definitely been weakened here for EG. See if they can make anything happen, though, because obviously they did use Ash Arrow to try and start that off, plus Braum ultimate and Urgot ultimate. So EG very clearly are still going to be able to have priority. But Immortals looking like they want to make the stand.
Collateral damage just came up for Xmithie. Ash Arrow is on half cooldown, just about past that, rather. And they're going to be going for this Drake. It's got to be the steal. We said Immortals needs a chance to steal. Xmithie comes up big here, but he's put himself in the pit. EG is not focusing on that, and Bang comes up with huge damage, pushing everybody out of the Dragon Pit by himself. He's going to start following up, damage coming in from Sense Garen to take down Alorum as Apollo's doing what he can, and Huni is just going to chase him down. They're making sure they're focusing the right targets. Huni actually backs off for a moment to make sure they're doing the right play, and he just explodes Apollo. A double kill coming for the man in the top lane as he's back on the LCS stage, and he's already running down mid somehow, flying through after he teleports in to help them push Immortal's base.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that was just so well played. You got this jacked Aphelios level 16 Bang on the dragon, just completely annihilates the enemy jungler's health, so Smithy has to get out of there, and then Huni has the flank. He sets up a surprise barrel on Insanity, the other carry's gone, and EG, congratulations.
Sub 30-minute game. Now, just over. They're trying to pad the KDAs a little bit here through Hakuo and the rest of the team. That's a nice ultimate. Another Moonlight Vigil Infernum coming out of the Aphelios. A double kill for Bang as he is just locked and loaded in front of the Fountain of Immortals as EG moves themselves to 7-6.
EG with a definitive win. Now, you talk about riding momentum. This is what this is the picture perfect example of that. They come off their Cloud9 win. You know, yes, the first game after switching in Huni and Golden Glue, they had a terrible draft and they also had a terrible game. But man, then they take down Cloud9 and then they have this very dominating victory over Immortals. The team definitely looking good after the switches.
Absolutely. And Huni really playing to kind of not his opponents as we see him. Sometimes he can pop off, and here he was measured, but definitely playing above his opponents. And he was playing with the team. When he was fighting Alorum, getting ults out, the team was still able to win 4v4s on the other side of the map without that global ult, meaning they were really just able to control quite a bit of the game. And like you said, a definitive win for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah.
Now on the other side of the break, we'll be hearing from Huni, so don't go anywhere.
Expecting you. Aha! And I brought you a gift so you can fight properly. Red Bull. Oh! How nice. Of you. But also rather stupid. Mine. Mine. No, mine. No, mine. 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 Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm joined by Evil Genius's Hooney with an absolute banger of a Gangplank game. Hooney, how you been, man?
Yo, long time no see my fam, bro. The Hooney's back.
The Hooney is back and looking maybe better than ever. I have to ask you just about your matchup. Alorum plays definitely a pretty wide range of champions. We worried at all about the Urgot being a pick because no other top laner really plays that champion right now.
I think definitely one of his most strength that actually he handled really well, the Urgot. I think that as of meta right now is it's actually doing really well as an Urgot champ, but he can't beat me by GP, so that's what happened.
And were you surprised to even get Gangplank? Because, I mean, you have many legendary champions, but I feel like giving Hooney Gangplank often a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, especially the last week we beat Cena with the GP, and morally, I guess I was expecting that since we didn't protest as a 1-3 the draft, I was expecting things gonna be open. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna get one more game of GP. I'll play it out. We'll see what's happening. That was basically it.
Yeah, it certainly worked out for you. Just in general, though, now that you've joined this team, what's it been like? Because you've been playing in Academy and been playing quite well there, and now you're on the LCS team and you have a lot of different teammates. What's it been like kind of gelling with this team and kind of learning to play with a new set of teammates?
I mean, first things, all I gotta say, I've been playing better. I've been more, a lot happy. I got, my best friend, one of my best friend, which is I'm playing with a bang. I don't have to be pressured, do anything. At the same time, they care a lot of me, especially, my GM. I previously worked with him when I was in Clutch Gaming last year, and it was, really good experiences. And by far, I think it's going really, really well. I think it's going to be really good for me. I think it's really good for work, too. That's what I feel.
Tell me a bit more about your relationship with Bang. Obviously, you played together with him on SKT and did very well there. What's it like playing with someone that you've known for so long and who you're good friends with?
I mean, definitely feels a lot boost. We can actually have more responsibility for each other, that we actually playing same team. It's not done with just being friends, we have more responsibility over that. We got the businesses, we got the we got the friendship. It's so easy we can actually discuss this as a two. We've been doing a lot. We've been talking a lot. That's why I think it's been working really, really better and a lot better. And personally, I think it's getting help me individually too.
Well, certainly seems like you're both playing excellently and another great win today. Hooney, thank you so much for talking to me. All right, well, for more on that win, let's hand it over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Pastry. It looked like Hooney was very happy to be back in the interview booth, and I can say from the bottom of my heart, it was great to see him there as well. A victory over for the EG side, and probably it looked like there were a lot of early determining factors that ended up contributing to the overall result.
Yeah, even before the game started, they kind of picked two losing lanes on the top side, and then as soon as the game starts, they get Evil Genius has a pushing top and a pushing mid. So Svenskeren, being a smart jungler, he's like, I have topside pressure, I'm going to invade. And this is weird because you almost never see a Graves get invaded. He's such a safe jungler. He's usually faster. But this is kind of the beginning of the end for Immortals because Graves gets put behind here. Svenskeren actually ends up taking this red, and he gets double crabbed after that. So this gives him the early level 6 when they force this Herald fight. The big problem... Oh, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, big problem here is just the fact that Hakuho TP's in this situation and actually can't get involved in that play. And it's going to lead to, not only do they lose Herald, they use the Summoner Stone, but also they let 2 turret plates go over to the side of EG, just pushing bot for free, and also shove Ashe off the wave.
Yeah, and I also think this is where it turns a lot too for IMT. I feel like they overstep. I feel like it's already a lost cause, and then Insanity looks for something crazy. And when Affiliate still has flash up, it just doesn't make much sense to me. And then it just all falls apart after this. They lose Insanity, they lose the entire bot tower, and the game just completely flips on its head.
It's pretty, it takes a lot to skill check a world champion and be like, you think you can flash my Azir ult? And it's like, yep, Bang can do that. And after that, I mean, that's really where the game broke open. There was another close Drake fight, but for the most part, they didn't have that much control on the top, so like you heard probably saying. Their bot lane, they had counterpick for the Braum, and that was supposed to be kind of their strength point, but the TP away just ruined any pressure they had bot.
Yeah, and this is a matchup where now the Aphelios is ahead of Ashe, and I mean, who wants a fed Aphelios? And then the Zoe is ahead of the Azir now. So in the early game, you saw they had top side pressure with mid and top laning. after this Herald play, now they have top pressure, mid pressure, and bot pressure, and the game was just all over EG's control that whole time.
Yeah, I just really didn't like the Bard ban from Immortal side either. Like, I feel like if they're going to 5-pick support, they could be looking for that pick themselves. Like, at least make EG ban Bard away from you. I feel like it's just banning yourself out in that case. And I also really dislike the Urgot pick in a GP. He just completely counterpicked himself. I feel like there's so many better options, especially when they show that so early in the draft. It was just not ideal from my point of view.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. There's a million little minor things you can do to improve the draft, because not having a PowerPoint to play around in any lane through on red side means you probably did something wrong with your counter picking. If it's not straight up like, oh, we hard out scale and we don't lose. And they definitely didn't hard out scale GP Aphelios.
And if you compare the lack of PowerPoints over on the side of IMT, if you're looking over on EG, we talked so much about the changes in the mid lane and the top lane, and a lot of that was to keep Bang consistently here in the bot lane, and my oh my, was he having quite the Bang performance.
Yeah, Bang was popping off. He was been quietly playing pretty well for a while. There's been a lot of focus on Jizuke and Kumo and all this other stuff, but he's been kind of the rock down the bot lane. In this game, he got super fed, flashed the Azir ult before, and then was able to get so far ahead. He could basically run into the Azir you see in the Drake pit there, not needing to be scared at all.
Just another 200 years type of game, I guess. But yeah, he played really well, honestly. He's been playing really well every game I've watched of him, so yeah, it's just good stuff out of him.
Yeah, a lot of what we're looking over towards on the EG side, I mean, you saw the graph, so much damage coming over from Bang. But Lorlo, you mentioned that you didn't like the pick that actually happened in the top here, having the Urgot into the GP. We've known Huni to be on this GP pick. What did you make of his contribution, even if just later in the team fights?
Yeah, I think Huni's played really well. Honestly, I think his GP is like, if not the best in LCS, like one of the best for sure. I feel like he could have done more with his early game. I feel like he kind of wastes his ults here and there in the early stages, but his team fight was really good that game, especially around that Dragon. I think it was like later stages, about like 20 or so minutes, where he had like that flank on Azir and the GP ult to execute him. But yeah, he played really well, honestly, overall.
It seems the momentum that EG gained after their past tremendous victory carried over into the one today against Immortals. So congratulations to them on securing that win. We here on the analyst desk are going to step away for a quick break. And when we return, it is time for Team Liquid versus FlyQuest. But as a reminder to everyone that's watching, go check out the newly rebranded LOL Esports, which is bringing back the Penta and a host of international content. Till after the break, we'll see you soon.
League of Legends looks like. That's a big start. That's a big engage. Oh, 80 minutes on the clock. 80 minutes to dream. Gonna be stunned up. Flash, and there's your first blood. Good lord, man. The dream is alive and well. The crowd erupts. Don't stop, 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 don't stop. Oh my gosh, look at the fight!
Many of us are working from home and adjusting to new coworkers. Coworkers who borrow supplies and always interrupt meetings. A gift can help. And when you use your MasterCard, you have security benefits that keep you protected, so your purchase ends up in the right hands or mouth. And your staff can start something priceless.
Welcome back, everybody. We are about to get into Game 2 where FlyQuest is going to take on Team Liquid. And for FlyQuest, there is no doubt that they are hoping this game starts better in the beginning for this rematch than it did the first time.
Yeah, I want to bring up a clip, actually, of the previous match that we had between FlyQuest and Team Liquid, because I want to remind people how screwed Power of Evil got by this level 1 invade. It was Team Liquid invading, but Solo and Santorin really wanted to take the fight because Santorin actually wins the Smite fight. Oh, I didn't even know we added this effect, but Power of Evil was the first one to go down. That's not even the worst part, though. Keep watching this in the gray tone. Jensen ends up with the extra kill, and he ends up with the blue buff, getting that kill. So then Power of Evil has to teleport back to the mid lane. He has no flash, he has no teleport now, and he's facing Azir that got the early kill and has the blue buff to just shove him under wave, and they lost so much control considering how FlyQuest is this team built around Power of Evil as a resource heavy mid laner. That was just that was a travesty as far as the opening of that matchup. So I'm excited to see what unfolds in number 2 here.
It's unfortunate, but we can all take a little bit of, solace in knowing that happens to them too.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, it's unfortunate, and especially at that level, when it happens, it's something the other team is just going to run away with that much of an advantage. And here, like I said, FlyQuest hoping that they can get a better start in this rematch. 10-2 though, Team Liquid feeling good. They do have Cloud9 coming up as well, so momentum for them would be fantastic. FlyQuest 6-6, they definitely want to start catapulting themselves here in the middle of the pack so they can separate.
All right, where is the Graves then? Because Trundle is highly prized by both Broxah and Santorin. Aside from that, Broxah has only played the Lee Sin and the Graves. So are FlyQuest going to leave them up for the trade here and be happy to take the other side? Because I think that if they leave the Graves up, then Team Liquid are going to choose that for Broxah once again. They do decide to ban out the Azir for Jensen, which has been one of the hallmarks of the late carry style for Team Liquid that they've used extremely effectively. And they'll leave both the junglers up. Now, with the Volibear hover here, he is much more shifted towards jungle play than he has remained as a top lane pick, but it's still flexible. If you lock it in, you can still technically have Impact play it. I just very much doubt that it would be an Impact Volibear. I honestly think that this is showing a Broxah Volibear jungle.
Taking their time, set gets locked in. So FlyQuest looking to show Flex to start off, and the Ashe. So Flex plus initiation, follow up on maybe a showstopper or somebody to showstop. And back to Team Liquid quite quick, actually.
Okay, is it going to be the Kalista or the Ezreal then for Tactical? Because both of them have their ways to play around. I feel like it's kind of risky to go Kalista, even though Tactical's Kalista is really good. And he's been able to combo for kills with Core JJ. But boom, they have no hesitation. Core JJ's Bard has been instrumental in Team Liquid's win streak that they've been able to rack up here. And they do go the Bard Ezreal side, which plays off of range, and it'll be a little bit safer.
I would have loved to see the Rakan come in for Immortals composition last time with an arrow follow-up and the way they could have fought with their team. But now locked in here for the side of FlyQuest.
All right,
and we'll get to see what this initiation follow-up looks like already here in Phase 1.
Yeah, so since, Ignar's newest fascination with Pantheon was banned out, the hard engaged Pantheon where he's looking for all these stun setups in lane, he goes right back to his old Rakan, and that is a lot of engage for FlyQuest here. Obviously Rakan, Ignar plays it like this spy champion, basically. He runs around trying to weave his way through the fog of war and come up with these crazy flanks for the team to try and win the team the game. Sometimes he can get caught and lose it, but we'll focus on the solo lanes for the rest of the bans for FlyQuest. Solo does not like playing against Jace as Set. It's one of the ones because Jace can run that phase rush. It's hard for Set to gain that advantage unless you call extra members to your lane to help with your all-in that you're trying to force. And Power of Evil still worried about Jensen's LeBlanc.
Rightfully so. Once Jensen can just leave lane, if his lanes usually win, so once he can leave lane,
I don't want to see like an Orianna then.
Havoc everywhere.
I want to see Orianna here for Power of Evil. They could just save the pick and go jungle. That's also another option, but yeah, this is what I'd prefer.
Ori with ball delivery in 2 ways.
It's just too good. You can't let the possibility of Team Liquid stealing that away, you know? Which is your favorite ball delivery, Riv? The Rakan or the Set? They're both amazing.
I think it's gonna have to be the Rakan.
Yeah.
It's just a little more fluid. It's clean, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, well, their plan is definitely telegraphed, so Team Liquid going to have to be careful about heading into little corridors. So this has been a really big response that we've seen a lot of teams just indexing in range. Range is one of the best stats in League of Legends right now with the way that the meta is going and so many team fights having to revolve around constant dragon forces. Zoe and Ezreal, match made in heaven, different damage types, long range poke for themselves. They do get it for Jensen here with the Zoe pickup. She doesn't really even have bad matchups, so what you're basically looking for is CoreJJ picks.
Let's go!
To set up those long range abilities here from either Ezreal or Zoe landing, and they spice it up with the impact flank from Kennen. Now,
I like seeing this.
Yeah, so for me though, Kennen, one of the things I do worry about for Kennen, even though the lane versus Set is great, right? Because you have your range advantage and you're trying to pressure him. I'm always worried about
the jungle.
The Set. Oh yeah, there you go. So Set jungle. I'm worried about the Set using ultimate on Kennen, take him right back out of the team fight. You put in all this work to get a great flank off on Kennen, and Set can just, especially a jungle Set who builds full tank, will just run straight into you. As long as you hit your ultimate, the stun from Kennen, it comes out a little bit slower, so it's delayed. And the Set very often can go unstoppable and get his ult off on you, taking you out of the fight a lot easier.
Yeah, you see Kennen's usually getting bopped out by a Gragas or something, so not as much Gragas, no Janna for forever now, but you're right, the Set can still kind of provide that impact and throw him right back into his own team. I'm excited to see
that's
what
your job
happens here
now.
Coming into this one. Power of Evil picking up his most picked on Orianna now with 6 picks, so that's going to feel good for him, and the rest of the team can kind of sort out around that. So coming into this, Mark, Prolly, and Lorlo are up against Fish. If they cannot lose against Fish. The Fish have chosen FlyQuest.
They're kind of biased Fish. You got to admit, right? The FlyQuest Fish are choosing FlyQuest. Maybe there's some inside Fish trading going on.
Ooh, you got to watch out for that. That's fishy stuff.
They put some food on the FlyQuest side. Don't tell.
Just make sure you get all of the advantage early game, because that's what they need, right? They need all the momentum and everything. FlyQuest is sitting at 6-6. We just saw EG at 6-6 win their game, so they're now 7-6. And FlyQuest needs to play a bit of catch up, but also separate themselves again, as I said before, from the pack. And Liquid is running on all cylinders. They have been. You heard CoreJJ talking about how they're just trying to advance everything. Tactical's playing well, so the bot lane stays fresh. They're running comps from 2015 meta, man. It's just, how do you stop that?
Well, I think you run 2020 meta. That's the way I would go about it. Honestly, though, it is right, because Team Liquid, one of the biggest things they deserve a lot of praise for is their ability to remain focused on their own win conditions without being diverted by what has gone on early in the game or what their opponents are trying to turn the game towards. Plus, it definitely should be stated again, Team Liquid are on a 7-game win streak here, Riv. Woo. Team Liquid are almost legendary. One more here, and Team TL are going to go legendary in the LCS.
Remember Godlike. Godlike's 8, right?
8 is legendary. That's why I'm going legendary, because one more for legendary, yeah.
Whew.
Oh, Ignar. Can you go pop those? Pop the button. Got one. All right, success. Now go back to base and heal before you go back to lane.
Stepping on the garden.
I like the evolution of the minigame here. Everybody who's been taking Bard has been starting these extra health packs and trying to get their mid lane advantage like that. So Ignar is trying to do his part as well. I like it. Takes down one of the health packs.
Kennen MD repping the doctors. I like it. Going to be throwing out some syringes here at Solo trying to make a pair of gator shoes out of him. We'll see what happens. You're going to get help on Santorin's red from Solo for FlyQuest. And obviously TL's bot lane will start Broxa off nice and strong. We're off and running, Kobe. We'll see what happens this game. Fish for FlyQuest. The rest of the analysts desk for TL. We'll get back to that later. We'll see Broxa here starting off on the Volibear. What do you think is pathing will take him to? Do you think he'll be looking to counter where Santorin's going to move, or will Broxa be making the first move with the lanes he has?
So if I had Fog of War on and I didn't see Santorin starting topside and swapping like this, for me Broxa, the one thing I am worried about is if there's extra jungle pressure on Impact, because I want to make sure Impact feels safe to abuse his range advantage here. And as you can see in lane right now, he's trying to get his autos off, trying to get his Qs off, and you drop into that side brush so that you lose aggro from the minions. You don't lose out on the trade. So that's one of the main goals for your team's jungler, because if the Renekton gets the opportunity to all in with a rage bar, get a W stun on your Kennen, and have something like a set, which is perfect for layering CC, flash in, get one of those clapbacks, then that is what brings down your top side of the map and brings down one of the advantages that you want to sustain early on. So he's doing just that. Look at the mini map. He went right up there. Broxa, that was also his goal. Now, Solo did have a defensive ward because they're expecting this. And I believe they're alerted to Broxa's presence before it timed out. Solo, actually, maybe they weren't alerted, because here we go. Skirmish.
That's marked to Storm's off. That means Impact won't be able to lock him down for much longer. And Impact's forced to flash. Kennen can only do that once very early, I should say. And then the cooldowns are there forever. That is the pain point of going against something more aggressive.
That is a big yikers for Team Liquid and for Impact there. Oh, man. I actually want to see the replay. And I honestly would also want to hear the comms, because that was Broxa spending a lot of time sitting there in the tri-brush. And the reason Solo stayed in there is because Impact got up and took such a bad trade. I believe it must have been like, okay, I'm baiting him here. We're going to get this 2v1 kill. But you do not feed the alligator, okay? It is dangerous.
What is it? You got to get 4 auto attacks up. Your Thundering Shurikens are 8-ish, 9 seconds to start, and your Lightning Rush is actually pretty long to start too. So knowing that Solo can just keep banging away at you, Impact started that one a little too soon. So some miscommunication there to start things off, and that's scary for a Kennen, Kobe. Whenever your laner has any type of advantage, usually you just keep getting dove, and you have to stay in your hamster cage under the turret. Yeah,
I mean, I was talking about how scary it would be if the enemy set jungle ganks up there and Renekton gets
right.
It's even worse if he gets that solo. and now they don't have a flash. Both of them have been traded. So they really need to keep eyes on Santorin to make sure it's not going to be any sort of follow-up. Solo now is playing so aggressively. You can see he constantly goes in for his slice and dice when his rage bar is full to try and threaten Impact. He wants to shove this wave in so he can try and bounce back there. Even though he got the solo kill, he hasn't been able to purchase yet. Still just sitting on the Doran's blade, and wants to go get that little extra advantage. For me, I would love to see a Blade of the Ruin King rush, because that is just big dominance. But he is going with the Black Cleaver. It's more all-purpose, and you do get the move speed earlier because your Phage component just gives it to you. And your strategy with Phage component is, upon killing a minion... Oh, never mind. We'll see an engage.
Ooh. That was cheeky from Tactical. He might have put himself in a bit of danger to shift forward like that. I liked it until he almost died. Oh, he gives the cheeky star face cat, though. We're good. Not even close, baby.
Turtle gonna deal a decent amount on him back.
Oh, man.
This is gonna be pretty good for Turtle there, because Tactical, as Ezreal, you usually go with your teleport.
Yeah. And
because they get to shove the wave and kind of force this, they're trying to gank it so they don't get the wave control easy back here. Good job here from Broxa and CoreJJ.
CoreJJ forcing the Cosmic Binding. Wild Turtle trying to stay away from the wall, but he flashes what could be the Q to end his life. Also, Sleepy Trouble Bubble almost sending the rest of FlyQuest to a different realm there. And they'll get away from Jensen and the rest of TL. So a double attack towards the bot side. FlyQuest make it out here. And This is exactly what I was talking about, Kobe. A slight lead, and this is what it feels like to play Kennen in the top lane against someone that's bigger than you.
Yep. And they saw the jungler bottom side, so that's why he's doing this, but also calling Santorin here. They will be spotted on the ward, but the damage is done. You know, that was a big minion wave denied. Level 7 solo to... Oh,
they pulled up Core JJ. Fight the mid lane as well. As TL is trying to repair the map, Jensen could be going down with Core JJ backing. Ignar finds a chance to roam. And Core JJ now is going to be roaming through the river, roaming through the jungle, making sure that at least Impact's a little safer. Kobe, you were saying this was Brox's job. Now it's becoming a team job.
Nice little exit sleep there for Jensen to get out of it, as Pyrovivo had a good shockwave. So no summoner spells, no flashes at least burn there as Jensen teleports back to the lane. But the early teleports for bottom lane and for mid lane used now for Team Liquid to be able to get their good purchases off. Tactical working away at his call and tier stacking. Doesn't want to see too much confrontation. He's just happy to play the PvE. He's just trying to last hit, get his goal done, continually charge up the tier. Ezreal, so much of this matchup with Ashe is, you know, just trying to play that long game. Ezreal has the big spike, obviously, on the 2 item completion, 2 core items, when they really start to get playing here.
We were talking about this in Academy on Thursday as well. It's just kind of turned into this gentleman's agreement of, okay, you farm, I farm. I'm not going to go back and buy Sheen first. I'm going to buy tier so we can all scale. You're going to get called too? That sounds great. I'll grab a call. It's just waiting to pocket all this money and then use it all on some big objective fights for the Dragons, like you were saying before.
Yeah, and so that means, Turtle, you got to keep your eyes open for opportunities to use the Ashe arrow. If you can force something down here, you know, fighting over these control wards, there is an Infernal Drake, definitely a little bit more powerful, more popular for them to try and force something on bottom half of the map. And if you have a top lane advantage, like they do with Solo, it's not like, oh, you know, top lane's only an island if you can't do anything to help out with that dragon. Solo has full control of the minion wave, so he could build a slow push to create a big crashing minion wave on top side and force basically another objective onto Team Liquid and then go down and help, or you know, wait for the teleport threats.
Damage onto Core JJ. Doesn't look like he's going to make it out of this one alive. Ignar with the Battle Dance back to give a little bit of a shield to his team, and the Sky Splitter will miss as FlyQuest is going to walk their way out of this one. A bit of pressure for that Drake, but they still have to be careful and figure out where everything is on the map here. It looks like Santorin will start that up.
Perfect opportunity there. He's looking for the Ashe arrow constantly, you know. He's seeing that Cole, tier, Ezreal. He's like, all right, we need to fight here now. FlyQuest, they find it. Turtle is able to get off the arrow. Santorin gets in there with the flash. They pull him back, and that's going to be Dragon as well.
Uh-oh, Facebreaker back in. They could have given Brox a bit of an escape there. Shockwave's going to miss. Nice flash out by Brox on the fast fingers as Core JJ is now back from the grave to deliver a bit of damage. Cosmic Binding can stop them both. They go through the magical journey, and that's Turtle going down. The shell was not hard enough. Double kill for Tactical, as we just saw FlyQuest trying to get down this bot lane a little bit. TL answers back.
Yeah, nice poke damage there from Team Liquid to punish them on the exit. And them, yes, they do give up the dragon because of the early fight, but the 2 kills onto Ezreal, that greatly accelerates your double item power spike here for the Murmana plus you know, Sheen purchase. It was an attempted steal from Broxa. He ults out there, but the critical part was him being able to flash that shockwave.
Huge.
If he does not flash that shockwave, you know, there are Triumph heals that go over to FlyQuest off of the kill, and losing that 1 member, they might be able to get more people out, but because there's a little bit of time between the Rakan knockup and the shockwave actually going off, Broxa flashes it, and they're able to get him out as well as get more money. Look at that. Manamune purchased here, and he'll start stacking a lot quicker.
Gotta feel good. Already has a bounty for himself, and he gets to play safe. Tactical always pushing himself to the limit, and as Jat would say, not even happy with the 100 lane 2 kills. You know, no, as he keeps pushing himself to the limit. He'll meet Turtle back on the bot side, though, as we do see Rift Herald go over to FlyQuest. So they're going to grab a bit of map control. Now, can they use this? We haven't been back to the top side too much yet. Solo was bullying Impact quite a bit, and that's maybe where we don't see it, since that lane's already losing plates. Maybe they do, so Solo can start wreaking havoc other places. It's kind of in FlyQuest's position right now to do what they want with that. And we'll see where they choose. Where would you go with it, Kobe?
I always like mid lane, but the best usage of it is obviously to try and burst down a turret. Basically, you go gank an area like top lane, and either you kill Impact or you force summoners and do damage and force him off the turret. And then in your push with 2 people, you're able to take off 2 plates by hand and use the Rift Tail to just annihilate with true damage the last 2 plates, because those ones give so much extra armor. And then you also get your first turret bonus, extra 150 local gold, as well as opening up the map and allowing Solo to roam to affect the other objectives for your team.
Trying to watch Solo's ferocity here. Cold and Meek there onto a few minions. We can get that on a champion. He healed for a bit more, as we can see it's up above 50% now. And I'm keeping an eye on Core JJ at this point. He journeyed to bot lane, but also is staying in the middle of the map to be available for wherever this rift goes. Right? He can't just go back to tactical, or you completely nix the reason. You take Tempered Fate to stop Herald. So I like seeing him kind of mill about, not be in one spot, so he can really make use of that. If you can find Santorin and track him, you're good to go.
Exactly. Honestly, it doesn't matter where you want to use the Rift Tail. You just have to use it away from the Bard.
Yeah. That is the goal now. As soon as you let Bard through, you have an objective to dodge him with Rift. Broxa able to kind of step up in this fight as a True Shot Barrage goes over his shoulders, just missing FlyQuest. Ooh, they have Turtle here.
Flash.
Maybe a bit of a speed up. Tempered Fate into the Flash. You are correct. And it's going to be both summoners down here for Turtle as he stays safe at turret.
That was Tempered
back
Fate,
to mid lane. Yeah, that's the turret going down in the mid lane, or at least a 1 plate so far. Is that correct? And it looks like they'll be able to stop this one. So FlyQuest taking what they can get here, knowing that TL will take those fights, right? They're trying to just clamp down on everything that FlyQuest is doing. And FlyQuest is saying, nope, I'm going to poke you here. Oh, I'll poke you in the eye here. And just getting these little things left and right.
Yeah, I honestly want Santorin to poke him again. He's recalling right now. He could go take their blue side, but Santorin actually goes for the recall. I definitely would want him to go play with Solo. Solo just smashing Impact here, bullying him back between the 2 turrets, and there was a whole blue side jungle there. You can see Broxa is stealing away Santorin's blue side jungle, but Santorin went for the recall. Maybe he got an item completion or something he was waiting on, but I think that was definitely a missed opportunity for me, at least, where he could have answered back.
20 seconds on to Ocean. This will be our second Drake of the game, showing us what takes over the map for Drakes. It looks like Broxa will take this time to back as he cruises on back to the Drake to set up some vision here. All of FlyQuest are present, even with Solo's teleport up here. His turret being close, or down, I should say. Close to down on the top side. He just gives that up for now.
Yeah, I think they're going to burn it here. Team Liquid should probably just make the call to keep Impact on top side. There's no use in actually having him teleport down here. Solo's level 11. He's a bigger Impact on the team fight. So, yeah, you just give it up. You don't want to waste any extra cooldowns, any summoners going for that. Like the call.
Swing! Lightning Rush and swing more.
He finally gets some time on the enemy half of the map, Riv.
Yeah.
we track forward percentages for all laners and stuff, which is your time spent in the first 15 minutes across the halfway point. Impact has had very, very little, almost none, except for the early part where he died this game. So this is his first time getting up to that point, and we just crested 15 minutes, so won't even count as stats. Team Liquid, though, they will get the bottom turret for themselves in answer and get some money back for themselves. For now, that will actually bring the gold lead back to parity, but it'll probably be answered with the top side. You know, Solo got that really low already, and mid lane turret was about to fall. So FlyQuest have a lot of standing gold that's about to knock over, which the scoreboard's not updating quite yet.
That player cam, so focused.
Aha, the drone! I hate drones. Turtle's able to scout out. Hey, I'm pretty sure they're looking to dive me here. They've got
You
Bard.
love Hogshot, don't you?
Yeah, I actually just, it's one of the, it's actually, maybe that is my most hated ability in the game as a jungler. Definitely a pet peeve. But Core JJ and Broxa, you know, both of them can turn towers off. So Turtle knows he is a big target No flash Ash. There's just no escapes on this guy, and you can easily lock him down, easily turn off all the defenses. So very good intelligent play there from him, just to scout it out and kind of make sure Team Liquid are unable to make anything on this side of the map, while FlyQuest did, as we are alluding to, get that top turret.
Yep. And Turtle, he should be okay. Dissonance comes out. Nice battle dance in there. Ignar flexing a bit as he comes through. I like it.
Yeah, definitely one of the intimidating battle dances. Just trying to scare him off. Get away from Power of Evil.
I swing my cape at you.
Yeah, and he swings it. He sweeps up the trouble bubble. He's like, let me clean that away, sir. I will fall asleep. And nice little move to the other side. Turtle does miss the arrow, but Santorin can't miss the ult.
Boom! Smashing him into the river, giving Jensen some wet socks. Nobody likes that, and you know, it's just enough to take yourself out of the game. Jensen's down. He'll be back in 30 seconds. And it looks like FlyQuest gaining a bit of ground here on the bot side. Solo is going to pressure forward to be a bit of a sentry here, as the wards aren't there just yet. Tactical may not be there either. Oh, no, and flashing. It's going to be the call, Meek, coming in from Solo as he swings, slices, and dices Tactical down. Summer down everywhere. So are two members of TL. I like that. Unreal Tournament coach.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking of with Solo here. Like, he's playing like Scorpion. He just keeps on smashing people. Oh my goodness. He gets in for another one. So this has been the game of Solo, honestly. He's absolutely dominated from start to finish. After that kill onto Impact, all by himself with the enemy jungler sitting in the tri-brush, he just grew this giant CS lead, took the top turret, and he's stepping in for the rest of the team here. He teleports down, which is the reason TL have to abort basically this fight, and Santorin able to hit the ult onto Jensen. He gets the slow there as well with the E, and then Solo does not give up on the play. He is juiced after this. I believe he's going to slice and dice off the Krugs. No, he doesn't even have to. Just charges it up, chases him down with the flash. CoreJJ had done everything he possibly could to try and save Tactical, you know, that last second Bard stun, and that took a journey out, but Solo means, surprise, there's a magic crocodile at the end of your magic journey.
Yep. And that was last pick, right? We were thinking, oh, set top, and they're going to fill something else in, and they're like, nah, Renekton. We are going to bully the crap out of Kennen, and that is exactly what happened from moment one, pushing him behind his own turret. FlyQuest gaining a bit of a lead, 3,000 gold now. And this would be a fantastic push for them here coming in to week 7 at 6-6. We talked about EG moving up in their game previously. We just watched versus Immortals. And FlyQuest need these wins more than ever here.
And Riv, we've got a Team Liquid Cloud9 matchup right in the rest of the weekend down the road here. If Team Liquid lose this, it definitely brings a little bit of the excitement out of the matchup. We're like, oh, all right, fighting for first place. Oh wait, yeah, Team Liquid lost. They're not tied anymore. Okay. But FlyQuest here showing up. This would be such a big showing for them, as they have had a big slide in the standings recently and been under a lot of criticism for several of the plays, but really strong this time around. This will be third Dragon. If Team Liquid can't make this play, then it is going to be setting up Soul Point for FlyQuest. Impact's looking for a teleport around. He does have Exhaust and Flash ready.
Keeping eyes on Broxa, Santorin, and Solo as well. He's trying to get Impact. Impact can get himself in a little bit closer with the Proto Belt. Also trying to keep track on where the ball is. None of it's going to even matter. Positioning there quite well as Rift Herald was sent mid. That should get about a little over half the turret and be stopped. So, Soul Point for FlyQuest as they lose a bit of damage mid. And they are playing these situations so well to not be caught in any mistake or any movement mistakes by TL.
Yeah, all right. I just want to revisit the Solo story.
Let's visit.
Because he's even taking away Krugs on the bottom side here with Impact. No teleport available for him, no flash available, so you don't get any of those surprise plays. But I just wanted to point out that he went for a Death Dance second. I love it. He's taken over the game. He wants to be a 1v9 carry. Renekton already has a lot of sustain in the kit, obviously, when you charge up your rage with your Q. So you can play off those sustain fights and try and get into the thick of things. He'll be shredding armor for Wild Turtle, as well as getting off, basically drain tanking, lifesteal tanking, which is something you don't get to see a lot unless Renekton's get kind of fed like that.
Absolutely, and they're playing it well. Like you talked about the priority they kind of put there. Looking at the champion picks for Solo, he's played set 5 times. So why would TL think that's going anywhere else?
I was like, oh, it's his favorite champion. You know, he's used to him on it.
And then, yeah, Kennen. Like you said, we're going to harass Zach. Sweet. You're going to punch my shuriken? Sweet. Your knuckles are going to bleed. Let's play Nicholas. Quarters, whatever. But other than that, it was such a mind game by FlyQuest. They knew from the moment one they needed to do something to TL because this game was probably going to be in their favor just in terms of the laning phase, in terms of how things went. And they made sure one of the lanes would be really stomping, and that was the Renekton lane. Death's Dance now out. He can go in even harder. Team Liquid trying to set up around the Baron now, and as the comps kind of all come into the mid-game, what happened in the laning phase, it doesn't fizzle out, but it definitely matters a little bit less here. A big fight from TL could wash all of those troubles away that Impact had before, and he can get himself back into the game.
Yeah, it's very important for FlyQuest that they're heading into the mid-game with this lead. Because it is necessary for them. If not, then they are facing, like we talked about in Champ Select, the classic combo for mid-game picks of Ezreal and Zoe. Whenever you have that range advantage on your team over the enemy carries, it makes them engage on you. Okay. It puts the burden of engagement on the team with the lower range carries, basically. And that's going to mean that you have to constantly look for Ashe arrows. You're looking for Rakan Ori combinations. Santorin can try and flank. It's just, FlyQuest have a lot of options here. So the fact that they're ahead and they're taking away all this vision makes Team Liquid have to respect them, have to respect all these different engage opportunities that they do have to get back to the Ezreal, kill off the carry, get back to that Zoe, and take out kind of the heart of the Team Liquid composition. So it's really a kind of win more thing here for FlyQuest. And that's why they don't want to throw anything away. They'll just wait for the Soul Dragon. We went over it in the last game, but the risk is just so low that we're probably going to see another, 45 seconds of farming until they just get back down to the Dragon. You need to bring all your control wards. People purchase new control wards, please. And then take them down to Dragon Pit. You set up around that dragon to allow Wild Turtle and Ignar to look for the engages that are going to win you the game.
All right, let's see what happens. Everybody, you have about 1 minute to grab a drink. Do it quick. Maybe some popcorn.
The clock is ticking. Now Dragon's surviving.
I expect you back before Dragon. So now the farming will happen, and we will still continue to discuss how that farming happens and how much. No, I'm just kidding. Zanya is finally picked up by Impact. We see a lot of different Kennen's being played. This one's my favorite. The flash over the wall, the try to flank Kennen, Blade of the Rune King, and autoing in a fight and sticking to somebody. It's always fun, especially when you're ahead. But I like this one no matter what, because you can still have a bit of an impact from behind. Even if you aren't blowing people up, you're setting up fights for your team. So let's see if Impact can find those.
For Team Liquid, this has to be him, and this has to be their team fight. If he does not get a good flank, if he's not able to avoid Santorin using his ult to dunk him back out of the team fight, Team Liquid's plan here is going to...
Oh, no! Oh! That wasn't the team fight just yet. The flash is down, and that's one of the biggest initiations for Kennen. Otherwise, you're just walking straight in, and the enemy sees it coming. True Shot Barrage is not really going to hurt Turtle too much. He'll be able to get that health back quite quick with the Blade of the Rune King as we set up for the Drake. This is Soul for FlyQuest. True Shot Barrage is down. Flash for Kennen is down. Slicing Maelstrom is still up for Impact on the side of TL. He's zooming in. He has teleported to try and give himself better positioning here. And there are no wards on the flank, Kobe. He could be able to get in here once Lightning rushes up. He will be attacking. I think he's in the right side brush. TL's just waiting. They're pushing into where Impact would be currently. And it looks like they're going to pull off of this one. He's right in the brush. He gets Power People first. Going to be on the blast cone. They're not going to hit it as Ignar gets back to defend. And now it's the face breaker coming in from Santorin to try and stop TL in their tracks. Solo doing everything he can with Dominus on as he just cleans up the rest of Team Liquid on the other side of the fight. That's Turtle coming up with a big one. And not even with a huge flank can TL find their way through the thick skin of FlyQuest.
Oh my goodness, Solo. Keep spamming whatever emote you want, my friend. Absolutely smash this game. Even with Impact getting the opportunity to have a flank with Kennen without flash, being
my
in that
word.
bush right behind Power of Evil, he's only able to get the one stun, and the exhaust goes down. They're able to keep Power of Evil alive. He flashes away. Let's take another look at the other side of the team fight, because we're so focused on Impact finding this really kind of lucky and nice flank over the backside. He puts a control ward to make sure they haven't seen him. Team Liquid are thinking, all right, this is it. This is our opportunity. This is the only chance we've got. They don't have a lot of other cooldowns to use, though. So Impact, he goes in. Everybody looks for Power of Evil. But Broxa gets chunked out to the other side. Then Santorin flashes in to get some peel down. And you can see Wild Turtle chases down the rest of them. Solo just flashes in, kills off the extra carries. Jensen was on the outside on Zoe, unable to do anything. If your team's not able to land some Sleepy Trouble Bubble or Zoe Poke to start out the team fight, then they're just not going to have enough of an advantage to be able to take down this FlyQuest team. Now with Mountain Soul, extra shield armor on top of themselves for FlyQuest, they have a very easy Baron setup on top of it.
You know, I got to say kudos as well to Turtle and his positioning, understanding that he and Power of Evil were quite powerful factors here, and he did not exit with the team down that same corridor. If he did, Impact would have had that that ended the fight easy.
Yeah, that's one of the main things when you're looking at a very narrow win condition for your opponents. They're like, okay, so the only way they win is if Impact gets an ult onto our carries, right? All right,
exactly.
Wild Turtle, Power of Evil, just split up. Basically, every carry for himself. You go one side, you go the other side. You can only grab one of us, and Power of Evil even flashed out and didn't die, as he's the tankier of the carries. So, good job there by FlyQuest, separating to live.
Quick acting in these fights. Really well positioned to keep themselves on top. A 5,000 gold lead now over Team Liquid here in their rematch in Week 7. And we said that, FlyQuest was hoping they would start better. Well, seems like they knew they were going to start better with the confidence they came into this game. Turtle now up with a Quicksilver Sash, which makes him even slipperier to get on. Even more slippery, EE. Make words up. That's what you do as
He's
casters.
a slippery turtle, all right.
Words. You know what, dude? The algae. It's everywhere.
The algae every time. You don't expect it.
Yeah. You know, you've been walking in a stream before and you just fell on your ass because algae.
Well, they're forcing it. The bubble does miss. I think they're just going to have to pull off the Baron. It does regenerate here. So good little poke from Team Liquid. They're still poking around.
Ooh, this is the first time they've really had Solo quite low to start the fight and been able to use that poke comp we've been talking about around these objectives here. The wards, however, are dwindling as FlyQuest start to encroach a few more forward into the jungle of Team Liquid. And now it's an attempt. Ooh, they are starting it.
Basically,
Roxa waiting.
It's shields up. As soon as they get the Mountain Shield back again, just go right back into Baron. Tank it up with the shield. They're not going to sustain a lot of damage. It's down to 4,000 health. Broxa's got to get in there for the steal. One way! Nope.
I don't think it's going to work. The timing of what happened for TL to buy, the Blade of the Rune King coming in. Tactical tried to get back in time with Teleport down, and FlyQuest just playing within these windows perfectly. FlyQuest gets hit in the face. It's going to be an Arcane Shift in to that Quicksilver Sash, which keeps him alive. Poor JJ journeys forward, and Santorin's going to slightly follow to cut them off on that mid lane push. Brox is still trying to create a bit of a wall, and it looks like TL will not be able to get the inside track on mid lane damage here for FlyQuest on mid tier 2 turret.
Yeah, it's really hard for Team Liquid even to deal with the minion waves that are buffed up by Baron buff right now. Team Liquid are in full defense mode. They still have to be telling themselves, okay, we have to farm, we have to keep playing defensive under our towers. At least for them, there's nothing on the map for another minute and 45 seconds till Elder Dragon comes. So you've got another minute and a half basically here to try and continue farming for Zoe and Ezreal, and you're just hoping that FlyQuest are going to have one of those missteps and get a little bit too close. But you do have range to try and fall back on later into the game with the Ezreal and the Zoe, if they're able to get more items, more firepower behind them, so that the poke actually hurts. But FlyQuest feeling so good now with this Baron buff. They should be able to do real damage to the base.
1 minute for Elder. If they do enough damage, it will be free. And they've had such objective control across the map this game. Just really a few steps ahead of TL in each movement. finding how to create pressure, and a lot of it coming right from Solo on the top side of the map. It drew Broxa a few times, allowed the other lanes to be safe, play safe, scale up. That's what we've been seeing as well from the bot side, and it benefited Turtle to just be able to get this big and fire arrows from the back line. So FlyQuest feeling good, not changing it. Looks like they're going to keep going here with a 1-3-1-ish.
Their big goal right now is to try and get one inhibitor down before the Elder Dragon. Because then they get the extra pressure point.
Exactly.
And you get the extra card when it comes to the Epic Objective trade. So they're keeping Solo in the 1v1 on top side. Should be able to get that tower just by virtue of buffing up your cannon minions and threatening impact. Little attempt at a magical journey, possible pincer movement there, but was scouted out, so no damage actually going to go through. And what they're doing here is, because it's a Blade of the Ruined King Ashe, Turtle should be able to solo that Elder Dragon. And with the Baron buff, keeping up pressure, Solo's just going to beat him down, send him back to base rim.
He would have been dead if he threw Dominus on for the damage on his spin, but pushing him out of lane is just as good. They don't want to use the ult. He can now use that if they do go for Elder, which is already happening for Turtle. And that is going to be a solo Elder. The control that FlyQuest has over this game is the control we remember from FlyQuest in the Spring Split.
Yeah. The thing that Baron has to keep you from doing that is the Baron debuff that makes it so if you're the only one tanking it there, you do a lot less damage to it. Elder Dragon has no such thing. So you can just send an AD carry over there with Blade of the Ruined King, percentage damage, and plenty of lifesteal. Easy pickup for FlyQuest. Now they've got the team fight power. 2 shots on this tower. Should be able to take it down. And now, Ashe arrow away. Fire at will, Turtle.
Keeping himself, again, separated. So no double ults happen to him in Power of Evil as they walk on top of each other. Thanks, guys. 33 minutes on the clock. They are not really afraid of too much here as they have all members of Team Liquid in their eyes. And that's going to be inhib number 1 down. Arrow goes out. Jensen's able to cleanse that right away as the Temper Fate quickly comes back. And no real damage is going to be traded either way there with the inhib going down. Just a bit of an attempt from both teams.
Honestly, good disengage there with CoreJJ with Temper Fate and Jensen using the cleanse.
They are just going forward. Solo says, I'll stand on the front line. Double shockwave going in. Ignar tries to get the pop-up, and he's going to dash back before that can happen. He gets himself to safety. Beautiful job here by FlyQuest to just in and out, be able to find the priority targets of Team Liquid and not really worry or get flustered if Liquid tries to engage or balk and engage. FlyQuest isn't buying it. They're staying for the long haul here. It looks like they're going to let Solo back, and they'll say, we'll wait for you. Come on, TP back. We'll get topside, and we'll be here waiting.
They've got another minute of Elder Dragon fire to work with here.
No, he doesn't even teleport top. He just teleports in. That's what I thought he was going to do. Cleanse for Power of Evil, keeps himself safe. First Nexus turret goes down, and TL is just getting strangled out of their own base here. They're watching their Nexus turrets go down. They can't even do anything about it because of how strong FlyQuest has become in this game. The fish are right, Kobe. The fish are right. The Nexus goes down. FlyQuest takes the win, and they'll move on to 7-6 as they take down Team Liquid.
Oh my goodness, the flash hit at the end too. Just control over the Dragons from start to finish for FlyQuest. Really good. Engages by Santorin, flanks around. The back was set. Solo just stomps on impact in the top lane, gives FlyQuest such a big advantage that they're able to utilize that to continue stacking up the Dragons, get their soul, get their Baron buff. And you're right, turns out the fish in the tank are unbiased fish. They're impartial. They just knew the truth, and they knew better than the analysts.
I guess so. Tiny brains unite. There you go. Time for another quick break, but the LCS returns with a Verizon post-game interview with Solo after this. Don't go anywhere.
Verizon knows how to build unlimited right. You start with America's most awarded network, the one with unbeatable reliability 13 times in a row.
This network is one less thing I have to worry about.
Then you give people more plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need.
Verizon Unlimited plan is so reasonable, they could stay on for the rest of their lives.
You include the best in entertainment, and you offer it all starting at $35, because everyone deserves the best. This is Unlimited built right, only on Verizon.
Your Honda MVP!
Dreams aren't achieved overnight. They
They take passion, dedication. And even then, there are no guarantees. But for the LCS, that's the power of dreams. It means you never give up. It means you always play again. Honda, proud automotive partner of the LCS.
Hello and welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm here with Solo. All the analysts may have doubted you, but the Fish did not. Solo, how's it feeling coming off beating up one of the first-place teams in Team Liquid?
Yeah, the Fish, I guess the Fish knew what it's all about, but yeah, it felt pretty good, especially since last time we played them. It felt like we should have won, and we kind of like threw away a game. So just being able to like solidify the fact that we're like better team was really good.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit about like FlyQuest as a team, because I feel like it's interesting in that the team is very consistent, but I also feel like that potentially makes you predictable because a lot of your picks are somewhat telegraphed. So obviously, you know, when the player's solid, it doesn't matter. But what do you think about kind of that dynamic between you being a super solid team, but maybe being a little too obvious to read at times?
Yeah, that's something we've talked about and we've identified a little bit, and you know, especially during the season, you want to be able to like work on things and prep as much as possible for playoffs. So we've tried to like mix things up a little bit, add in some more aggression here and there, and I think it showed. Like when we're getting leads in games, we're closing out really clean and we're you know, taking advantages where we need to.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned aggression because I do want to show you something now. We're going to try something new here, Solo. I'm going to pull up a play from the game, a replay, and I want you to talk me through what you were thinking in this one. And I feel like you're going to recognize it when it comes up because it was quite early on into the game. See if you can remember it. But I want you to tell me like what you were thinking, what was kind of going through your head when you watched that play. And like I said, when you see it, I'm sure you'll understand what I'm talking about. Here it is. What's going on here?
All right, so in my head, I was thinking, all right, I saw Broxa going in River, and I was like, oh, great, this guy ganks me every game in practice, every game in solo queue, he ganks me. I'm like, of course he's going to gank me now. He's just going to sit and try until I go in. But luckily enough, Kennen face checks me, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to just like wuss out and run away, especially with Set and River, so I'm going to fight the guy. And my minions got my back. My minions throwing out the little auto attacks, and they ended up getting the kill for me. And I was like, all right, sweet, dude.
And that kind of seemed pretty straightforward from there. Talk to me a little bit about the matchup, actually, though, because some people were surprised to see Renekton as a counter pick into Kennen, but kind of what's the thinking there, wanting to take Renekton into a champion that typically is good at bullying melees?
Well, to me, it seems like, Renekton can trade in like really easily, and especially with tenacity and like unflinching and merc treads, like you're so resistant to the stuns that you can get your damage off a lot of the times before he can do anything. And Kennen's just going to be trying to throw out his Q shuriken, and as long as you stand behind the creeps and only fight when that's on cooldown, then it seems really easy to get prio, get good trades, and then snowball from there.
Well, certainly seemed like it worked at this game, Solo. Congratulations on the win, and thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
All right, well, for more on that game and to wrap up the day, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you so much, Pastry Time. What a great opportunity to hear from Solo after his top lane performance, along with an explanation as to why he brought the Renekton into the Kennen. But if I'm looking over at you, Lorlo, I feel that you had a bit of a strong reaction when you saw the Renekton as the last lock-in here in the draft.
Yeah, I was honestly really upset. He proved me wrong a lot, though. Like, I feel like his reasoning does make sense with like the tenacity. The unflinching rune got reworked recently, so like to me, his reasoning does make sense in terms of like taking short trades and things like that. But I would have much rather seen like a Sylas or even an Ornn pick because I feel like it meshed well with the rest of FlyQuest draft. Of course, it worked out here, and he ended up making that really sick outplay. But I feel like it could have went really different if they played it better from TL side.
I was going to say, it's one of those games where I don't think anyone on either side is going to be convincing the other, because people like me who are a little bit like, I don't think I really like that Renekton pick, we're going to look at that gank and be like, Impact screwed that up so badly. I mean, if he doesn't do that and the Brox actually gets the gank off and they set the Renekton behind, he's under his turret the rest of the game, and then people who think the Renekton pick is good are just going to be like, it won. It crushed. It was proxy farming against this Kennen. Of course it's a good pick. And so no one's going to meet in the middle because of this game, sadly. But I will say Solo did play it very, very well.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick a side. I'm still not convinced.
You're a coward. Get over with me and Lolo.
I'm not convinced over here. But I will say I'm happy. In Solo's interview, he mentioned that he admitted they're predictable and they wanted to go away from it. That game, they had 5 mid lane bans, so I was happy to see them blind pick their mid laner, where usually they give PoE the counter pick, and they allowed Solo to get the counter pick. I am hoping this kind of opens up his champion pool so he's able to play more things, since they're going to give him a little bit more resources in the draft potentially. So I was excited about that. Yeah, no comment about Renekton Kennen.
Yeah, with go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, I definitely think the branching out is what's going to be important for them, because it does become very easy. And I think that also applies to Team Liquid as a team that's branching out hopefully a little bit more. This is a pretty standard pro comp. The wrinkle was the Kennen, but I think you could see that they're not great around playing to their top side being their strength in the early game, where the mid and bot are more focused on farming up for poke situations post 20 minutes, and you're supposed to be playing around the Kennen. Didn't work out.
I personally did like the Kennen pick. Sorry, I personally did like the Kennen pick, but I feel like the execution is just so off. I feel like I would like to see it again from TL, but just execute that early gank better, because in my view, that draft is like they have the Kennen volley into the Renekton, they just get that first gank off a little bit better, like burn a flash or just anything but what just happened where Impact just died solo, and the game could be completely different.
And there were efforts that were made by Team Liquid to try and bring things back in their favor later, but some of those early game moments made it very difficult for them to try and overcome. If we're looking potentially later on in the game at the Dragon fight specifically here, Mark, you can't just discount what Team Liquid was trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly why I think Lorlo likes the pick. You know, the Kennen does a good job flanking. Impact's really good about team fighting. He's able to get into the right spot. He just doesn't have the damage. He's too far behind, and so when they get this play off, instead of insta-popping the Ori, she doesn't die at all. And Tactical is on the same page. I do think TL are smart about going for this. It's just they can't actually follow through on it, and so, you know, they get outplayed.
And that's a really good play. It's hard to notice, but Santorin actually blocks Broxah's engage. Broxah was going to follow up, obviously, with the Kennen to try to one-shot the Ori, but Santorin quickly picks up the Volibear and just shoves him out of the fight. So this buys a lot more time for the Ori. And yeah, like Mark said, Ori's just too tanky at this point. Kennen doesn't do enough damage. They have like 2 Mountain Drakes, just Merc Treads and Seraphs. So it was really a culmination of a lot of early game things going wrong where TL just wasn't strong enough. Because I think the execution of the fight was very correct. And it just didn't work out.
And as far as looking at this game in its totality, Lorlo, we were focusing a lot on the top lane. So I just want to get your thoughts on how Solo's performance here, if we're looking at FlyQuest trying to turn a leaf and getting back into that #2 spot, on your thoughts on what they can maybe do to just capitalize upon this more and what Solo brings to the table.
Yeah, I feel like their direction was pretty solid today. I feel like he kind of forgot he was 5-pick, though. I feel like he's used to Power of Evil being 5-pick, and then he just picked Renekton. I think it's a solid 4-pick if he was going down that route, but I think overall, like, this route definitely seems good for them, especially with how many mid-bans were in place there. There's like 5 mid-bans. So I think looking to branch out and give Solo more counter picks, it will give them a lot more success.
It is a great victory for FlyQuest, but hey, it's not the only place where FlyQuest got a victory. Here on the analyst desk, it seems that our analysts have been outplayed by the little fishies from the tank. Probably, Mark, do you care to have any defense for yourself in this case?
They're just flip-flopping, going to left to right, and they ended up on FlyQuest because they put more food on the FlyQuest side. So I think that was a tampered prediction.
I'm ordering sushi tonight. I don't know about you. I'll have some leftovers tomorrow. I'll eat it on broadcast so people can see. I hate these fish.
Yeah, I hate them. I had my sushi last night, so I'm covered. But if we take a look at the standings and the changes that happened after today, for Team Liquid, there's not much of a change in terms of them trying to secure that #1 spot for themselves. But Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest continue to move up, now 7 wins alongside TSM. And tomorrow, we might get to see these changes continue. Looking ahead at those games, our first match is 100 Thieves facing off against CLG, a win that would give either team a much-needed stability in our standings. And then we'll be heading over to TSM versus Dig before we join FlyQuest once more, this time against Golden Guardians, and finish our evening with Immortals versus C9. Lorlo, we have you here. TSM still having a strong hold on that #3 spot, facing off against Dignitas tomorrow. What do you make of the matchup?
I got faith in my Dig boys still. I feel like after watching their scrims, I feel like they've been improving a lot, and I think Dardock's been playing really well. So I'm just looking forward to see what they can bring. Even after the really hard game versus GGS, I still got faith. We'll see how this week pans out, though.
I need Immortals to win so that they can fix our narrative for Sunday when TL and C9 play, so that it's still a battle for first, because we've built everything going into this weekend as battle for first, and FlyQuest just screwed it all up. So it's on you now, Immortals, to beat C9 tomorrow.
There you have it. Our analysts have dished out the homework for our teams competing tomorrow in the games. But that does do it for us here on the broadcast. On behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.